What is going on, everybody? It is episode 469 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. There's a lot of dark stuff going on in the world right now, but we are not going to talk about that today
We're
or any day.
rays of sunshine here.
Yeah, we're here to bring some toxic positivity to your day, and Phil is here to help us.
Hello, everybody. I am Phil Labonte, lead singer of All That Remains, very failed musician, anti-communist and counter-revolutionary.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Oh, you know, we're doing good. It's
been a minute
Thursday.
since I was here.
Yeah, because everyone was gone last week. You have no idea how it was so quiet here.
It was so nice. Everybody was not bothering me.
It was so quiet in here. I just walked downstairs. Hello, hello, hello. There'd be echoes in the room. It was fantastic. It was great.
But
we've got everybody back, and we're going to be having a lot of fun this week. Tomorrow's Friday. We got a special guest for you then. But before we get started, guys, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed to this channel already, and turn the notification bell on so that you can be notified anytime a new episode goes live or a new segment goes up. Also, remember to share the video with your friends. We want more people to come in here and hang out with us during these shows. Also, remember, all super chats $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those super chats right then and there, and then we will get right back on topic. So if you have questions for Phil, for instance.
Are we at 10K on Instagram yet?
I have not checked.
You said that there were only 2 left the last time.
Yeah, but then when I looked last night, it was we lost 3, so we were down to 5. So
Also, by the way, there is a fake account on Instagram pretending to be me called Mary Archived Backup. Please go and report it. I posted it on my story.
They're checking now.
I think what they're trying to do is hack my account, but yeah, I've had to deal with this before.
We're back to 2 away.
Damn it. Okay,
yeah,
2 of you, or 3 of you for good measure, go to our Instagram right now, Pop Culture Crisis Pod, and follow. Get us to 10K live, please.
We're almost there, guys. You need to do it.
For 30 crisis parties, Brett will tell everyone his body count.
That's what I said in the chat today. Yeah, I'd have to go. I'd have to do some back of the napkin calculations, but we could figure it out. It's that's not because it's a lot. It's because I'm old and
I'm not making that promise.
It's hidden figures.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Guys, today we got a bunch of stuff to discuss. Dylan Mulvaney has won an award, Woman of the Year.
Good for him.
Exactly.
Isn't there already a more established Woman of the Year award? This one is the Attitude Magazine Woman of the Year award.
I'm sure there's others, right? But
there are too many.
Yeah. So,
is there a Man of the Year award?
Well, men don't get as much rotator.
Men don't get Man of the Year.
Themselves on the back.
No, men don't get Man of the Year. They just get Nobel Prizes, and they actually make scientific discoveries and stuff like that. So.
I can already see somebody in the chat going based. There's a $20 super chat here from Francisco Sanchez Jr. He says, "Let's hear it for the boy, the girl. Anyways, congrats, Dylan."
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Congrats,
sounds like
Dylan.
Mulvaney just got a gender reveal party.
Well, we're gonna be talking about those because there's one of those gets mentioned in the segment about the influencer.
Oh,
Andrina, no.
Yes.
Chat's making fun of me.
Okay, so today, guys, we're going to be talking about Dylan Mulvaney. We're also going to be talking about Bobbi Althoff, or as one of the comments said, Bobbi Alt-Right, because they're calling her racist because she did this interview with Scarlett Johansson and she wasn't in character, and they're saying that she only does the character when she's talking to people of color, which that's a pretty bold claim.
Is Mark Cuban a person of color?
I have no idea if he counts.
Is he Cuban?
I don't know
or is
what
his name just Cuban?
I don't know if Cuban people have the name Cuban. That doesn't really seem like it makes much sense.
Okay, just checking. She interviewed Mark Cuban, which was more surprising than Drake.
Yeah, where does Mark Cuban find the time to do a joke podcast?
I have no idea.
Right? That guy's busy. He's got stuff to do. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about...
There's a $20 one.
Oh, right here from Eratess00 says, "Don't worry, Phil. You'll eventually get the same musical level as Brett. Keep your chin up, little buddy."
I'm always positive. Always positive. So
it's what is my music? I don't have a musical level. I'm not musical.
I think that's the point.
So you're going to become zero.
Don't worry, Phil. One day you'll be as tall as Brett.
That is unlikely.
It could still happen. I didn't drink enough milk as a kid. That's the problem.
I went to the doctor to get my knee checked out when last week, and they measured me, and I'm exactly 5'6". So if you're 5'6", then we're good.
Yeah. I'm 5'5", so
I
think you're taller than me actually. So There you go. He's taller than me, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
And the party told you to forget it's good. We're gonna talk about that. So SAG-AFTRA has got into more of an argument with all of the studios, in which they're calling what the studio is doing bully tactics, because they haven't been able to settle on a new deal. The writers have a deal, the actors do not. I got that, and I got a couple of other articles that are really, really breaking down all of the chaos that's going on in Hollywood right now on the writers, actors, and director side of things. So we're going to get into all of that stuff. We're going to keep the conversation more general, but the general request that they're making here about revenue sharing is kind of insane to me. We'll get into it more. Also, there's an influencer who is, what's her name again? The influencer's name?
Oh, it's Linda Andrade.
She's gone viral for going on like a $2.5 million shopping spree, and people are
on her
kind of
husband's credit card, I'm
yes,
sure.
her husband's rich, and it's literally called gold. It's like gold digger inspo content.
Yes.
And you were saying that you think that this would have been more at home back in 2016.
Yeah. Like flex culture is not really as common anymore now that everyone is resentful of the Bidenomics that we're suffering right now.
There's probably a great skit idea somewhere about like Bidenomics flex culture that somebody could be making right now. That'd be great. So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys are ready, we will get right into it. Mary, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Didn't even have to ask him, ladies and gentlemen. He's ready to go.
I mean, there's no one else here. So.
All right. So first things first, this is not the greatest news in the world if you're a Marvel fan. The Marvel's box office estimates a $39 million tickets are in the gutter.
I love that it is the picture of
she looks so sad.
I mean, doesn't she always?
Wistful, even.
Yeah. She doesn't look happy to me, does she?
No,
she does not. So it says, following ticket sales going on sale Tuesday, it's claimed that the Marvel's ticket pre-sales are in the gutter, as less than a third of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, which could mean the flick would open to less than 39 million. That's very low. That's DC level low.
Right. What did Blue Beetle get?
25, I think.
In its opening weekend?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I can't even believe that was actually a movie.
It was a movie. It was a movie. And we're talking about this because right now there's also this article that's been going around where they're talking about how they're going to be like reworking the Marvel television formula, meaning they're not going to be doing the event series anymore, 6 episodes. They're actually going to try to do more actual serialized TV that will actually have showrunners. Shocking that they didn't have showrunners
I didn't know
before.
that they had no showrunners.
My guess would be they had showrunners. They had people that were attached as like main producers, but it's because at the end of the day, Kevin Feige is the showrunner for everything. Yeah. The final word
but
always
one man
goes through him.
Can't pay attention to all of those projects at once, meaning some of them end up being trash. I would say most of them.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, perhaps. Or he just puts more focus on the movies.
I saw people reacting to this news saying that Marvel is taking credit for the changes that the writer's strike actually won. This one tweet says, "We didn't strike for nearly 5 months for companies to take credit for this. These companies aren't doing this simply because they realized the process wasn't working, but because writers struck to require that showrunners be writers and not non-writing executives or directors, and we won."
That's crazy too, because I don't believe that you actually need the showrunner to be a writer.
The community note also clarified the same thing, that these results aren't because Marvel chose them, it's because the strike chose it for them.
Yeah. I really don't think that the showrunner needs to be a writer on the series. I think that that their job is supposed to be the 30,000-foot view. Now they can write, like on network television, a showrunner will write some episodes. Jonathan Nolan wrote some episodes of Person of Interest, but it would be intermittently throughout the show's 5-year run. Or a lot of times, they'll take on like the big episodes. Right, like J.J. Abrams would sometimes write the big episodes in the middle of the season, like the mid-season finale or something like that. But yeah, I don't know if that's really necessary. And the strike is going to end up affecting a lot more people, and people just don't realize it yet. One of the things that I thought was interesting, somebody pointed out that the studios seem to be interested in like the quiet victories, meaning they get to fire or not renew the deals that they want to get, and that the actors are interested in the unions are interested in the loud victories, meaning the article headlines that say that they got their way and are getting what they want. But $39 million, just remember, guys, the first movie with Captain Marvel in it made $1 billion, supposedly.
Alleged.
An alleged $1 billion. So
$6 billion.
$6 billion? Yeah, like when Trump mentioned $6 billion to Iran, it was like the most Trump $6 billion I've ever heard.
$6 billion.
He like went above and beyond in his enunciation.
I don't have a very good Trump impersonation.
It's a hard one to do. So yeah, and all of this pales in comparison to Taylor Swift, who's supposedly supposed to open to $150 million this weekend for the Eras Tour movie.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was supposed to include pre-sales or not.
Including
she's
pre-sales.
already over 100 million in pre-sale tickets.
But that's worldwide, not
She'll
just
get
in
like
the US.
25 million more the day of.
Yep. Yeah.
So she stays winning.
$150 million just in the opening weekend for her. So take that,
Are you going to see
Marvel.
the Eras Tour film as the Swiftie?
Probably not.
I suspect that this is going to be another event movie, just like Barbie was.
Think so?
Girl groups are going to go together.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to dress up for it. They're going to have friendship bracelets. It's going to be a whole event.
You know what they should be doing right now is Starbucks should be like cutting a deal with these theaters to like sell in the theaters beforehand.
Sell pumpkin spice lattes
in the theaters
for the
beforehand.
Swifties. Yeah, and I think the Swifties are going to go multiple times.
Think so? Oh, you think so? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think you're right about that. I think it's perfectly reasonable to think that when they go, like one girl will go with like one of her groups of friends, and then her other friends will want to go, and she'll have to go with them as well.
Then they'll
buy
go
that.
with their moms.
Yeah, I buy that. I buy that.
Might drag their boyfriends.
Oh, that's you know. All right. Also, did anybody see the Panderverse? The advertisement.
Oh God, I can't wait.
It's so good. Like if you see this picture, ladies and gentlemen, let me put it on screen there.
Cartman. I expected Cartman's character. She should have been a little fatter because
Cartman, they thinned her out.
Yeah,
they thinned.
She should have been as fat as Cartman.
They should have. Know what they should have done? They should have just turned Cartman into Lizzo.
They couldn't fit that on screen.
If they just turned Cartman into Lizzo, it would have been perfect.
Yes, you're totally right.
They would have just had Lizzo play, and then they have Lizzo voice Cartman in the episode.
Yeah. Well, I doubt she would have done it, but.
Or they could have done a thing where like somehow they split the voices. It's like half Lizzo, half Cartman.
I mean, maybe.
It'd be good.
I think it'd be.
Is Token gonna be white now?
I mean, he kind of has to be, right?
Do you have a bass?
He'd probably be the only white person.
Yeah.
He'd have to be like the only white guy.
Yep. Somebody mentions that I said the theaters make their money on upcharging on popcorn and soda. Yeah, but I'm saying like if they tried to cut a deal with Starbucks for like a huge flat fee, that would be really, really good.
I saw they're already doing pumpkin spice popcorn.
Oh,
sounds gross.
That's awful. And that's coming from
Sweet
somebody
popcorn is bad in my opinion.
I don't mind it.
I've been eating. They have like this Smart Food Doritos flavored popcorn.
It's probably awesome.
It's awesome. Like it's weird too because it's like I'm seeing this like more common now where they're mixing like chip flavors with other chip flavors. It's like they've run out of ideas and they've got like brands now. So like nacho cheese is a brand for Doritos.
I like
Cooler
pickle
Ranch
flavor.
is a brand.
Pickle flavor chips are good.
They're pretty vinegary.
Do you have
yeah.
Do you have a favorite chip flavor?
I think I like kettle chips.
Okay.
So like Cape Cod,
Yeah.
regular with a hell of a good dip. Is
So
probably
not
the
salt and
best.
vinegar or anything like that.
I mean, I love salt and vinegar. I wouldn't turn those down.
Oh,
but
that reminds me. Also, while I've been watching the new season of Love is Blind, I noticed that they're intentionally putting food on screen in every place just because of the lawsuits saying that
weren't
they're
getting fed.
starving contestants.
I like the idea that it's fake food because that's a
They're
real
like,
thing.
don't you
Always
dare
fake
open
food.
that.
Yeah,
But-
it's like an
But they're-
apple and the guy bites it in styrofoam.
It's really over the top. Like they're showing them cooking. They're putting just mountains of snacks in the rooms just to let everyone know that they're not starving them.
How's that season going?
It's horrible. It's supposed to be.
Good to
What
know.
do you think is like a bigger sign of Western decline? Like modern entertainment, like at the studio level, like movies and television, or reality TV?
I like reality TV better at this point.
You'd rather watch reality TV?
Yeah. I don't think
I'm
that
saying, but
people
which
go
one
on
is-
Love is Blind to find love. I think they're going on Love is Blind or any of these shows to get Instagram followers so that they can have an influencer brand after the fact, get brand deals.
Makes perfect sense. Like there's a better pipeline for people who are doing that now than there ever was when reality shows first came around.
Yeah.
Like you were kind of still at the whims of like whoever would hire you after the fact. Now you develop that huge social media following and you can go do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a, good for them. They don't need a union.
You can do whatever you want, even sue the reality show that made you famous.
Exactly.
Of course.
They can do that. That's fine. So we'll have to see what the Panderverse looks like when it comes out.
It's gonna be wonderful.
Did you see Ryan Long's new skit?
No.
Oh, okay. You have to like when today's done, you have to go check out. He has a new one. It's like being an actor and figuring out whether you support Israel or Palestine.
Oh God.
It's so good. It's so good.
I can't even believe. I mean, I'll go check it out.
Yeah, you got to see it. All right. Mary found this one. This is creepy. It's just creepy.
Jada Smith's video interview has come out today, and she looks like an evil supervillain.
She does, or a crime boss. Like she looks like an evil mob boss.
Yeah.
Like
she could be Amanda Waller.
She's too skinny.
Yeah, she's too skinny to play Amanda Waller.
But she was Fish Mooney on Gotham. So she's got it.
You were more terrified by the interviewer.
I just thought the interviewer, like the lipstick was unfortunate.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Who was the lady from Terminator? The lady
That played her?
That played her?
Oh, which one? The original one?
That played
I forget her name.
Yeah. The actress's name. But she looks like a mixture of her and Kamala Harris.
Jada does?
Yeah.
Was
No, the
that
other
in
lady.
2016, you and Will decided
Linda
that you
Hamilton.
were going
She
to
looks
live
like Linda Hamilton
completely
and Kamala
separate
Harris
lives.
together.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
The way she
but it
said that.
was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
There are so many.
She just does look kind of vaguely evil.
Yeah.
Like not like super
Also-
evil, but just vaguely evil.
Am I crazy for saying this? I feel like Jada Smith is faking the alopecia. Or maybe she's exaggerating it.
Why would she fake that?
Attention.
Like
Attention, which is what
sympathy?
she wants.
Like,
Attention
I
and
guess,
sympathy.
Like, is it really that? Like, does she get a lot of? I guess does she go to like alopecia events and stuff like that? Like,
Are there
Because
alopecia
despite
events
blowing
or
up
any-
her own marriage,
Yeah.
she still wants people to see her as the victim.
yeah. I mean, but then she's failed at it because nobody looks at her as a victim. Everybody looks at her as just vaguely evil.
But I'm just saying her hair looks full to me. I don't see any bald patches.
Maybe it's just a really short wig.
Really.
Yeah.
As in- and then it's like, oh, she's so brave for not wearing wigs.
You know what it is? It's not even just it's the slow nod. That's what makes it vaguely.
No,
evil.
I think it was the
Many
yes.
surprising things
It's
in
the
the book,
slow
but the
nod to me.
thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread
Maybe
it
Trump caused their divorce. Maybe that's what it was. Trump got elected, and they're like, we can't handle
really?
this anymore.
because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
It's a very evil
Wait,
head
keep
nod.
play it.
It was
Yes.
not a divorce on paper,
that?
but it was a divorce.
Okay.
Why would he stay with her? Like for the kids or something? Because that is
For
that,
appearances,
that
because the
hasn't-
kids knew the whole time that
Yeah,
they were separated.
But that hasn't looked well. Like it doesn't
No.
look
It
good. The
makes
kids
him
are
look
still
worse.
train wrecks.
Also-
and the whole thing with like with the fighting and doing all the
Yes.
red room stuff and all that stuff. You're separated. You are for all intents and purposes divorced, and you still go through all that humiliating shit. Like, I feel terrible for Will Smith, but Will Smith needs to man up and walk the F away from that woman.
the way she worded it is that she can't bring herself to fully divorce Will.
Yeah, that is manipulative, disgusting behavior. Will needs to stand up and be like, I can bring myself to do it and walk the F away.
and he seems like he's just really devoted, and he'll just put up with whatever scraps she provides him,
Unreal.
and that's just sad for him.
Unreal.
I guess. All right. Oh. So they're saying that the Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul fight might be canceled because
I don't think they're going to cancel
No, I don't think
it.
so
It's
either.
scheduled for this Saturday, and we asked you in the poll today who you think is going to win.
right now Nina Agdal is winning with 39%.
Who do you think is going to win,
Phil?
Phil?
Well, it's a boxing match, right?
Yeah.
I think probably Logan Paul, because Dylan. Not that Dylan Dennis is like not like a tough
He's
guy
a
or
UFC
whatever.
dude.
He's a jiu-jitsu guy,
Yeah.
and you know,
I said Logan Paul, but I had
been,
I had no justification for it. I just
Logan
said
Paul's
Logan
been
Paul.
actually boxing people, so like he's not. I don't know like what level of actual boxing he'd be if it was like real fights as opposed to the types of fights that he's been doing. But Dylan, even though Dylan is a great jiu-jitsu fighter, he's in a totally different element than is normal.
Here's the clip. He does
Looks like at this press conference, Dylan Dennis kind of socked him in the nose.
Look at this. Like, as he's hitting him, the other guys grab Logan. So he couldn't even defend himself as this was happening.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't even get his hands up because they grabbed him.
Dylan shouldn't have done that. You know?
That was crazy.
It's unprovoked.
I mean,
I feel like Logan will end up winning, but this is one of those things where it's going to be like, it's all going to be kind of a letdown afterwards.
Well, Logan believes that he's going to win no matter what because he wants to sue Dylan into oblivion regardless of the results of the boxing match. Yeah. And I think that's the dirty way
what's he going to sue
play.
him for? Picking on my girlfriend?
Yeah, his lawsuit with Nina Agdal.
She has a temporary
They're
restraining
claiming
order
that
against him right now. He can't post any pictures of her.
They're claiming that he illegally accessed her social media accounts
Dylan Dennis
Dylan
Dennis is like a hacker. He's got the sunglasses on. It's like the Matrix.
He hacked
I'm in the
her
mainframe.
Snapchat, obtained private videos, and just to publish them. But they claim that he started this years ago. Which is insane.
So it's like a defamation
But he
lawsuit?
wants to impoverish Dylan Dennis regardless of the results of the fight, which honestly makes Logan look cowardly. Like, just let the fight speak for itself.
I mean, it could just be a tactic to get into his head before the fight.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, Dylan Dennis choked out an OnlyFans model. She said it was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, we've talked about Elle Brooke before.
Isn't she an adult actress? Or
it's both.
It says OnlyFans model. Mary doesn't like that term. OnlyFans
well, I mean, she's not modeling.
You're not modeling shit.
You're
naked.
It's activities that she's doing. It's not modeling.
Is the video here?
I'm gonna put her to sleep. Sure? Hey, you wanna go to sleep? This is scary.
Who was it that died during one of these? Like, this has happened before.
She like almost blacked out.
Yeah, he put her out.
She looks like she's having a seizure.
That's what happens when you get knocked out. Or when you're asphyxiated.
I think Hulk Hogan choked out a TV presenter once back before like WrestleMania 3 or something like that.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
They take it very seriously over there when you called it fake back then. Yeah.
I don't think that was Hogan. I think it was someone else.
That was Piper?
Might have been Piper.
I think it was Piper who took it very personally if you made comments about wrestling being fake. Yeah. All right. Oh, also, what's going on with this one, Mary?
Yeah. Remember when Joe Rogan interviewed Miley Cyrus? That's like 3 years ago now.
There was a clip of it. That's like 5 emergencies ago.
There was a clip of that interview that went viral on TikTok, and Noah Cyrus commented the disrespect in this video because Joe Rogan was commenting on her.
Yeah. Well, maybe growing up and seeing all the crazy shit that happened to you, it's almost like growing up around an alcoholic and never wanting to drink.
Exactly. It can go one way or the other, right? You either become my little sister who kind of wants it, and she's got a record out that I love called The End of Everything.
And what's her name?
Noah Cyrus, and it's the most depressing EP you'll ever listen to. She's 20 years old.
It's depressing?
She's emo. She's like an emo kid.
Boy. Why is she emo? Maybe because she was on the road with you and
what
didn't go to regular
She
school.
has a song where she
says... Is emo back? Is emo officially back?
I have no idea.
I mean, it was in like 2018 when this interview happened.
Where's Carter when you need him? We need to ask Carter.
I mean, what is emo?
My sister's like sunshine and it'll follow her wherever she goes, but I'm more like a rain cloud. It's like she's really got this idea of me.
Maybe she needs to go to the doctor.
She is. We're all at the doctor a lot. We have
Everyone
like a salary doctor that just...
Oh, boy.
We got to deal with that. Yeah, she's dealing with it. She's dealing with it, but she's only 20, so I worry about her.
It's the hardest age for kids today, too. It's so hard.
Dude, if you don't look like these girls on Instagram right now...
They don't even look like these girls.
I know.
Again, more of the kind of evangelizing to like going to therapy and stuff.
I mean,
like
how
that.
is this disrespectful though?
Yeah.
Why was it? Oh, the argument is it's disrespectful.
Noah Cyrus said that it's disrespectful. Like,
I mean, I took that as a joke. I took it as a joke.
Get a helmet. I love. Did you guys see the what's her name, Candace Owens, when she talked that there was a trans person or whatever, a non-binary person?
What'd she say?
She's like, how do you go around saying blah 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 and cause harm and typical left-wing gobbledygook?
Right, the
and
wear a helmet.
She just goes, get a helmet, man. I'm too pregnant for this. I was like, that's brilliant. Not that not the too pregnant part.
No, they were
get
like,
a helmet.
how do you justify actively victimizing trans people on this campus?
Get a helmet. Absolutely. It is ridiculous the way that we treat people that as soon as they say, oh, I have been aggressed against, everyone just loses their mind as if they actually were and treats them as if they need to be coddled and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Where do you think that inclination comes from in society to
helicopter parents?
To immediately acquiesce? To
helicopter parents.
You think it's the parents that have caused the people to be like, look, deal, that makes people not want to say, look, deal with
my generation was latchkey kids, right? Like we were sent home. A lot of us were like, fend for yourself. My parents were definitely like, go outside. What are you doing inside? Get the hell out of here. Come back when the streetlights are on. Those kind of things. And now, and since people have fewer kids in the past, 20, 30 years, people have invested more in their kids, and that's where you see parents that are like, well, I'm only having one, so we need to make sure that everything's taken care of, and they go out of their way to make the world flat for them as opposed to teaching them to be resilient. So it's helicopter parents, and it's a massive problem in our society because we have a huge amount of people that have not grown up. That's why you see, I think that's part of the reason why you see kids that are living with their parents and well into their 30s, mid 20s, mid 30s, they're still living at home, not only because of the economic issues that it's expensive and stuff like that to move out and shit. But like it used to be, you could get roommates and
see, that was what I think is the most interesting about that argument now is people talk about how they're living at home because it's so expensive to move out and live on your own. I'm like, when I was that age, you weren't expected to move out and live on your own. You were expected to find roommates
100%.
Because you weren't going to be able to afford the rent on a place on your own. That was never actually
now it's
a
like,
thing.
forget buying a home, like they can't even rent because in some areas it's like $2,800 for a 1 bedroom.
Yeah, you gotta make and you gotta make like 9 zillion times your rent before they'll even approve your application.
Yeah,
and I understand there's economic factors, but I really do think that a lot of it, because this is only recent too, like the economic factors, like it hasn't been like this for the past 20 years. In the early aughts, kids could move, the economic situation was not like it is now. You could find places for somewhat reasonable prices, and kids just weren't moving out. They weren't going and starting their lives. They called it failure to launch.
There's a $20 super chat here from John Stewart. Says, hi Brett, hi Mary, hi Phil, happy Friday.
Hi John.
I do not appreciate the gaslighting here. It's not Friday. That's interesting too, because for a lot of it, it's like, isn't America kind of unique in that we do kick people out at 18, and that's not necessarily common?
I don't think we do that anymore at all.
But I'm saying, it used to be considered pretty normal. Like for me, it was like if you want to live at home, you have to go to college. Like if you want to live at home for free, you got to go to college or you got to pay rent.
Which is even dumber.
It's like, hey,
if you want to live at home for free, you better rack up $100,000 of debt first.
Well, I mean, again, it also depends, because you're talking about like when my sister went to college. She's like 2 years older than me. When she went to college, she had to work. But again, this is like 90s, so she had to work and she could live at home because she worked and went to college, and she paid for her debt. She didn't take on $100,000 in debt. You don't have to take on $100,000 in debt. As much as people think that, oh, this is just the way that it is, you don't have to take on that debt. It is hard. It's going to mean a lot of work, but it's better to go and pay for your college or pay for most of your college while you're in college. So when you get out of college, you can actually take some of the skills that you've acquired, get a job, and not be in the situation where when you're 40, you're still paying off your college debt. That is something that people do not have to do. It is because of choices they make. If you had college debt that was extremely expensive and you were paying $100 more than your minimum, you don't stay in debt until you're 40. You get out of debt, but it's $100 more than your minimum. People pay the minimum and think that it'll be fine. But that's why they get into these, or that's part of the reason why they get into the economic problems that they get into.
And speaking of jobs with untenable amounts of income coming in, we have a couple of other stories.
A tale of two teachers.
A tale of two teachers who have been fired from their jobs. Well, let's rephrase that. One was one was fired, the other one resigned. So technically different things. The first one here is a Twitch streamer who was fired from his teaching job after ex-guild members reportedly contacted his school with examples of him cursing on stream. But that's not all. Not only do we have that.
That's like a tame.
That is like the tamest way to lose your job
right?
ever now. But we also have this story about a teacher who joined OnlyFans due to her low salary. Well, she resigned when the school found out. So it's kind of crazy that these that both of these paths leads you to the same conclusion, right? Let's play the video from the guy.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No, but I'm okay to say it now. So like to my streaming community, my dad was department chair at the school that I taught at. And so like honestly the hardest part about the day was like you know, you go up to your dad and you're like, I'm sorry.
What is he crying about?
Losing his job.
I'm sorry.
Because he
You know,
swore on
like,
stream.
that's-
Yeah.
If you
Which, you know,
if you have allow
like you don't
those type of people
want
into
that
your
reflecting
community,
poorly on
they are
him,
going to
and then,
turn on
like,
you.
you just
You
want
should
parents
do
to be proud
everything.
of you, right? So,
Gatekeeping
like-
is good. Keep those people away from you because they will destroy your life for entertainment. Because look at how good I am to point out that that guy was bad. It gives them a feeling of moral superiority. Gatekeep as much as you can. Keep people like that away from you, out of your communities, away from you as much as possible.
But if you're a teacher, should you be a public figure on social media? Like, is that acceptable?
Well, it's like we covered the story last week of the police officer who had the OnlyFans account.
Depends.
There's a police officer who pulled the guy over, and the guy she pulled over recognized her from OnlyFans and basically said, like, I don't recognize your authority anymore. Like,
Similarly, if your high school English teacher has an OnlyFans account, I don't think your students are going to have much respect for you as an authority figure.
So, like, you're to your question, Mary, I don't think it's a problem if you're streaming and you're doing topics that relate to your job. So, like, you're an English teacher and you're streaming talking about your job or the thing that you're into. That's fine. You probably should not be on OnlyFans if you're a teacher. That is pretty clear.
a teacher in Missouri has handed in her resignation after she was suspended from her job when her school found out she had an OnlyFans account. With OnlyFans rising in popularity over recent years, many people have taken to the content creation as a way of making extra money. For St. Clair High School English teacher Brianna, is it Coppage? I don't know. It's
But she revealed that her teacher salary was about $42,000, and this is essentially making the story like pay teachers more so that they don't have to become online prostitutes. Like,
and the only thing more annoying than an entertainment union is a teachers union.
Oh, the teachers unions are awful. They're part of the reason why half the people that graduate from school can't read at a college at a high school level.
So like the shows that the writers and actors are involved in aren't making money. Similarly, the teachers are not bringing kids to a point where they can read when they go to college.
Because they're not held to any standard.
Their results are not, exactly. They're not providing the results that they're hired to provide for kids.
What is like the incentive? Like, I guess like, could it be like if a teacher was to, this is so off topic, but like if a teacher was to like show strong, like grades amongst her students, would that be like a chance for her to be able to get a job at like a prestigious private school or something? You know what I'm saying?
Possibly,
like,
I don't
like
know.
what's the incentive to actually make sure that your students are doing well?
Well, there's not really an incentive because the incentive is to move them along. You can you can see teachers, and this is because of George Bush and No Child Left Behind. The idea of No Child Left Behind was we don't want kids to fall behind, so we're going to do things to make sure they don't fall behind. But what it turned into is we are not allowed to fail kids. They have to move through, so we just hustle them on out the door.
Yeah. We have a $20 super chat here from Gordon Shumway. Says, Phil, Don't forget the snowplow part of the helicopter parenting. These parents also do all of the hard work for the children. It's admirable, but it denies a kid's ability to develop resiliency. As adults, they can't handle anything.
That's what I was thinking when I said making the world flat for them. You don't make the world flat for kids. You don't knock everything out of the way for them. You give them the ability to function in the world so they can deal with the ups and downs of life and the things that are going to be, you know, that take a little bit of effort to get through.
That's how it was. I mean, in my house, like we were not, you know, given everything. I'd like to think that my family was pretty good about letting me, you know, succeed where I succeeded and failed where I failed. Like I don't feel like that any of that really happened with me. So it says she explained that to the St. Louis Post Dispatch that the reason she had thank you
Is there something wrong with my is there something wrong with my shot here?
Is there something wrong with it?
Look at the bottom of it. It's weird.
Looks fine there.
Yeah, but in that other one,
it looked like it was artifacting.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yep, that was Phil shot. Yeah, so she says, hold on, there we go, fixed. She says that to the St. Louis Post Dispatch that the reason she had OnlyFans over the summer break was to help supplement her second year
Oh, it's just her
salary.
summer job. Remember in Mean Girls when Tina Fey works at TGI Fridays on the weekends and her students are really freaked out by it? Imagine the OnlyFans t-shirts.
That's amazing. She's like literally she puts like a back next summer post up every time she's about to go back to teaching. She's like, look, I got papers to grade. I can't be putting out content right now. Mm-hmm. Plus we did have that one where the teacher who did have like school, like teacher based OnlyFans content.
Yeah.
That was like, and people had a really big problem with that, rightfully.
It sounds like this isn't the same, but you don't even need to show your face anyway.
Yeah,
why did she show her face?
There are Instagram continuously puts those kind of things in my feed, and there's one woman that has a lot of like teacher stuff, and I'm like, that's really gross.
Yeah,
it's like really.
There's a $20 one here from Weary Traveler. Says I only watch when Phil is on.
Oh, well, thank you.
How do you know though?
That's that hurt my feelings a little bit, but that's fine. I get it, right? That's fine. Do you think this is like, cause okay, so somebody last week mentioned that there was an episode recently of Blue Bloods where a cop has an OnlyFans.
Wait, really?
Yes. Okay. So not only was that a real story, that was a real episode. It was this season. At the end of the episode, apparently, from what the synopsis said, I went back and checked. They basically say that it's okay. Like, and it's totally out of character for every character on that show to just be, especially for Frank Reagan, the head of the family, who's been a cop for like 50 gazillion years. He's the police commissioner. Like, it's completely out of character to say that something like that would be okay, and to not see the pitfalls of what would happen when essentially your ability to hold any level of authority over someone has been kind of forfeited because of something like this. It's not hard to see that that's how Hollywood socially engineers things a certain direction, little by little.
If we lived in my utopian dictatorship, people with OnlyFans would be thrown in jail.
That's what Mary would do.
I don't think that it's actually jail. I think it's the pit that from 300. That's where
how long would the sentence
Mary would be kicking them in there.
Look, we'll figure that out when I get into power, okay?
She further added, I do not regret joining Only. Do any of these women be like, yes, I changed my mind. I regretted it.
When they actually do something wrong, they either don't regret it or afterwards they're like, look, I had to forgive myself.
It's always that, right? It's always, it's like my husband and me broke up. Sure, I took him for half his money.
Like,
I had to forgive myself.
I cheated on my husband and it was really hard to forgive myself.
Yes! That's all. It's like women are always okay. I don't want to lump all women into one category. But
it's not all. It's just that the fact of the matter is that the ones that want to go ahead and tell people, like when they do something terrible, they always want to tell people so they can justify it. I really think
that's what pride parades are.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, they tend to be gross too. But well, I think that's one of the things that women want to do is like they want to feel justification. They need to talk more than men do. So instead of internalizing things, they say, okay, well, I'm going to tell my story and I'm going to come up with whatever lame brain excuse that I can come up with to justify what I've done. And that's why people hear these stories of women doing these terrible things, because they want to tell people that, look, I'm not actually a bad person, even though I was banging 3 dudes on the side and blah, 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 or whatever. It's like, it's not that there are the majority of women that do it. It's just that the women that do it want to talk about it. They want to be able to say, look, this is it. This is what happened. Let me explain. Feel bad for me. I'm not doing anything bad. That's why it seems like, oh, women are always doing this. No, women are not always doing this. Women are just always talking about it. Men, when they do stuff like that, they don't tell their friends. They don't need to justify it. They don't need to get a mini series about their struggles because they were banging chicks, you know? So does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
She said, I do not regret joining OnlyFans. I know it can be taboo, or some people may believe that it's shameful, but I don't think sex work has to be shameful. I do just wish things just happened in a different way. Well, maybe because is there a reason you didn't go to your school board and say, like, look, I was thinking of doing this in the off season?
Because it's shameful.
Is that okay? Like, because
she wouldn't do that because it's shameful.
It's kind of like when a kid does something that he knows his parents wouldn't approve of, but he's gonna beg forgiveness, not ask permission if you get caught.
Yep.
I guess so. Life's
Does
tough.
it have a particular incentive for teachers or something? Like, I feel like this story, I've seen similar stories over and over again.
They have time because it doesn't take, you don't have a full day of work or whatever. It's like,
I guess.
I think my favorite type of propaganda.
3 months a year off, 4 months a year off.
Yeah.
I think my favorite type of propaganda is when they talk about how they don't get paid in the summer, but everyone knows that you can have your salary stretched so that you can get checks over the summer rather than taking them all. Yeah. Party count is not showing up right now, but that's okay. I'll have to look into that and see if we can get that fixed. It may be a problem for tomorrow, but we are currently, ladies and gentlemen, at 1 crisis party right now.
Uno crisis parties.
One crisis party right now. Now let's see if it's back there. Back? We're
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yes.
Fixed it.
Okay.
I'm a genius, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a genius. All right. What would you like to see? Would you like to see cute of the day or cringe of the day?
What do you think, Phil? Cringe first? Let's
Oh,
go.
the cringe is bad too. So we can't.
Is the cute good?
The cute's good, but we should do cringe first and get it over with. We can't play the music on this because we'll get copyrighted.
Shocking.
But Libby, or should we just play it and then I can edit it out later? You kind of need the music to understand how gross this video is.
Oh, God, I saw it.
Saw this?
It's
Okay,
so
here we go,
gross.
ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't see this, be thankful, but here we go. If you're wondering, if you're listening, there's a young lady. She's wearing a hoodie, and the room is changing colors, and it says, "My fetus dancing right before it was aborted."
Like a tick. Clapping back, bitch, I'm clapping on the dick. Bust it, I'm a savage. Bitch, throw it back like a 10-year challenge. Take him to the crib, then I push him on the sofa. Have his breath smelling like pussy and mimosa.
Somehow, and it's from an account called @theabortioncounselor. Somehow the smile Somehow the smile makes it more demonic.
It's so repulsive.
This is exactly what you were talking about, though. The fact that women need to broadcast their L's like this.
They really do, because
I don't call a lot of things evil, but I would actually kind of put this close to evil.
For a long time, I didn't think like when I was growing up, I kind of was like, okay, good and evil are real things, and then I was like, well, maybe not, maybe it's perspective and blah blah blah, and now I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't think that like when someone says demonic or whatever, like I'm not talking about, or I don't hear there's a spiritual connection to it, because for me, I don't believe in an afterlife or anything like that. I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe that people in history have looked at things and said this behavior is X, and they're just using these words to describe the behavior, as opposed to there doesn't have to be a spiritual connection, or you don't have to believe in ghosts to believe that evil is real, or that insane people behave like demonic people or whatever,
Like, and what's scary is like this would be like an almost exclusively female phenomenon, right? Like, are there guys?
Yes, no.
There's not like a guy who's like me when I found out that she was willing to have an abortion, and then it's this video of a guy doing it.
No.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened once or twice, but I also
they don't
saw
make
the video
videos
of
of it.
the video of that trans guy saying that he wants to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
I mean,
evil is everywhere.
It is really gross, and I understand why societies essentially leading up to maybe the past 50 to 100 years, essentially every society in the world was extremely brutal. It makes sense to me now. It's like
the last year has kind of made that more apparent.
Yeah,
over and over again.
It used to be where I could be like, oh, maybe societies that were brutal and chopped off heads and blah blah blah. Maybe it wasn't so good, and I'm just well, maybe it wasn't so bad either.
You know what it is also is like I look at that, and that is the woman. I bet you 9 times out of 10 the women who make that video have "be kind" in their profile.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
It costs nothing to have empathy. It costs nothing. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind. It's like, but the abortion costs you $52.95, and I have no idea. But like it's just gross, and it's just. It shows you where society's headed in a way that kind of scares the crap out of me. All right, let's do cute of the day. Palate cleanser.
Please.
Yeah.
Palate cleanser. Guys, if you have cute of the day, you can send them in on Twix. Please at me on there, at Brett Dasovic, at popculture_show as well. Hashtag PCC Pets if you want to be featured on there. This one here is from Lindsay Tatum. Says, all this pumpkin spice convo led me to light a pumpkin bourbon candle up in the bedroom, and the most basic bee showed up. It's Eddie, or is it Edie? As in Edith, Brett, so Edie, I'm guessing. The outside rescue, even she thinks it's nice. There she is right there sitting in the corner.
Cute.
That is very cute. That is very cute. And one more. So guys, send those in for tomorrow because we need some more cute of the day for tomorrow. This is from Leroy Dean Keating. Says, White Flame Point Siamese is Oliver. His tabby spirit bonded sister is Gracie. Aww. Spirit bonded in the sense just means that they imprinted on each other, and often one is not far from the other.
Oh, they're so cute.
Aww.
It's so funny when they like sometimes cats hate each other. They either hate each other or they're inseparable. That's so cute.
Or is it that one hates the other and the other one wants to be friends? Kind of like the younger brother just wants to hang out with the older brother, and the older brother's like, get away from me. Mm-hmm. Now people in the chat are saying Mocha, the derpy cat. Yes, Mocha, the derpy cat.
What about Mocha?
What about Mocha? Well, Mocha has a sister. I'm guessing the sister probably just doesn't like her because she's derpy. That would be my guess. Just saying. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started then. Since now that we've kind of man, that cringe of the day really set the mood. Mary, tell us what the hell's going on with Dylan Mulvaney.
A queer magazine called Attitude just voted Dylan Mulvaney Woman of the Year, and we have the video of Dylan Mulvaney's acceptance speech for this award.
Bro.
It's literally the worst thing ever. And actually, Dylan Mulvaney was already voted breakout creator at the Streamy Awards this year, and similarly, that acceptance speech was just a big pity party about how much hate he's gotten.
How much work there is left to do.
How much work there is left to do, and this is the same way. So I guess we should react to it here.
One of the things before we get started,
it really set you on a tailspin.
One of the things that I want to mention before we get started is it's one of these really interesting things because I think Dylan Mulvaney might be the best emotional blackmailer in the history of the world, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And it makes me uneasy in a way that I actually can't put into words, which is not very good when your job is literally supposed to be.
It almost makes you feel like the audience for this speech in this room feels better about giving the award to Dylan than Dylan feels about getting the award.
Yes, yeah,
they're getting the satisfaction out of that win.
Let's listen to this speech.
The Woman of the Year award, supported by Virgin Atlantic, goes to Dylan Mulvaney.
First of all, I want to say, you want to know how you know it's a pandering event? Because they said the winner of the award sponsored by Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah.
Like what?
Hello, London! I am so honored to be here with you all tonight. And, some see me as the Woman of the Year. Some see me as a woman of a year and some change, as I only publicly came out online 560 days ago. And some people don't see me as a woman at all.
Me.
I know. Which is why receiving this honor from a queer publication like Attitude means so much more to me. Because here's what I've realized. You ready? Okay. So, no matter how hard I try, or what I wear, or what I say, or what surgeries I get, I will never reach an acceptable version of womanhood by those hateful people's standards. But
hateful?
That's no okay.
By
that's,
reality standards.
That's point one, right? That's immediately framing anyone that disagrees with you as a bad person and is hateful. I want you to pay attention to the linguistics in this. This is a masterfully worded guilt trip on the entire population. It's scary. Like,
but
I
it's
do
also,
find this to be scary.
It's worded to pat the people in the audience on the backs.
Yes.
Because they're there to feel morally superior.
Oh, yeah.
As long as I have the queer community that sees me for my truth, I'm going to be okay.
My truth.
There's my truth.
And I'm equally grateful that this title is happening in the UK, and not just because I am deeply attracted to your accents, which I am, but because I came to London on holiday this summer after months of feeling isolated. And when I arrived, I didn't feel that baggage that I was carrying back in the US. And I didn't feel like the trans beer girl. You know, I didn't walk into rooms and wonder, oh, does that person hate me? I was just another...
That's just a comment on your own narcissism.
Gal walking around
into any room and thinking, do people here hate me? It's just wondering, do people here think I'm important?
There's a $20 one from Dreamcast Knight. Says Dylan sounds like Quagmire's father. After the sex change on the bright side, Seth Farland would hit it. There's something to me about treating actual womanhood like as they would call it, cis womanhood, as like a perverse costume that you can win an award for is disturbing in a way.
Like, I'm a woman. I'm not getting any awards for simply being a woman.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this really all started with Caitlyn Jenner, winning.
Call me Caitlyn.
Winning Woman of the Year first year.
And then winning Woman of the Year, and hypocritically after the fact, going to Twitter to talk about how actually biological women deserve their own spaces, they deserve theo own sports leagues, etc.
As long as it's sports and
as long as it's sports and not awards where I get celebrated, right?
Yeah.
Super hypocritical.
Burberry trenched on her way to a West End musical. And, you know, I romanticized this country as a safe place. And as dangerous as it
is couched in the language of victimhood.
Yeah.
Every inch of it.
For trans people here right now, like the hate that was spewed last week,
I don't know what that's
maybe
referring
it's
to.
less about where we are and more about who we're with. And that if I'm surrounded by people like you all, that this still can be one of my safe spaces. So
we're not entitled to any of that.
Oh,
Nobody
gross.
is. No human being is.
when you have a win for trans rights, that's a win for us back in the States too. And I think if we all just adopt a girl's girl mentality and we say goodbye to the scarcity complexes, that we have a better chance of getting...
A man is going to tell us what a girl's girl mentality is. Yeah. Also, the talk about the scarcity mindset and what Dylan is about to get into with, like, you know, women are being pitted against each other. Women are told that they're in competition with me, Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, no biological woman ever felt that she was in competition with you, Dylan. That's ridiculous.
Through this because they want us to be in competition with each other. They would love nothing more than to see the L's and the B's and the G's turn their backs on the T's. And to quote the critically acclaimed High School Musical franchise, "We're all in this together." I know, almost as profound as Shakespeare. But I wanted to give a quick shout out to some of the girls in my life.
Okay, that's...
The rest of it is just, you know, thanking people.
There is a certain level of skill that it takes to manipulate a crowd like that. That is, Dylan's a performer at heart. Was Broadway, and it really does feel like somebody, I don't remember who it was, said like they feel like he's like a performance artist that's doing this on like a large scale, right? And it feels more and more like that every day. that it's not an identity. It's a very, very elaborate performance that's being done, and all the world is a stage.
I feel like Dylan could have garnered some more good faith discussion if he had responded to the criticisms of his 365 Days of Girlhood series in an honest way, if he had engaged those criticisms. But he never did. He just, labeled all of it as ignorance, hatred, baseless bigotry.
There's also the
criticism was you're making womanhood into a caricature. Specifically, you're infantilizing women. You're calling it Days of Girlhood, especially and prancing around in frilly dresses, acting like Eloise at the plaza, and you're defining those trappings, the lipstick and the heels and the dresses.
It's just a costume.
As you're manipulating that costume as the definition of womanhood. That was the criticism, and he never engaged with it honestly.
There's a $20 one there from Eratess00. It says, Dylan, who's they though?
Oh yeah, Dylan also later in the speech talked about living life off the binary.
Yeah, that's what I want
and
to.
it's dude, you identify as a woman, right?
Says a woman existing off the binary. Those are mutually exclusive things. Because a woman is part of the gender binary. What you're saying you are is something off that scale. So the fact that it's all designed to be as confusing as possible, so that you just give in and say, well, fine, they probably mean well. I don't agree that that everyone just blanket means well. I think that there's a lot of insidiousness in the ones who not in the ones who do it of their own private life, but the ones who seek to profit from it heavily, the ones who seek to raise your status, the status, where they are in the status quo, seek to raise their profile. I think that there is a certain amount of kind of designed evil there, to pit people against each other on the genders against each other for the sake of profit in something like this, and it's just it's not good.
It's so evil that you don't even know how to attack it or how to articulate why
I can't do it.
Unsettles you, but it's just like that sound of screeching echoing through the room and Dylan's manic face
that it's a disembodying level of evil.
And that's from some like me and you
they're
have
cheering for a
conversations-
lie. Me and you have conversations a lot about where we sit in our beliefs, and people bring that up a lot, right? Like I still consider myself in many ways to be very much a liberal in most cases with most things, but there is something about this that I can't put my finger on as to why it unsettles me so much.
Well, I mean, because it's not real. I mean, all the trans stuff, it's not real. It's all, in my opinion, it's just, you know, the rest of society affirming mental illness, you know, like, and so I think that most people are kind of off put by that. The people that aren't are the people that are ideologically, you know, predisposed to be leftist or on the left side. So,
and those people are women, though. Like, it should be noted that Dylan's rise to fame and success and brand deals, it's fueled by women and our pathological desire to affirm the broken, welcome, open our doors to the marginalized or those who are perceived to be marginalized in society, to displace our maternal instincts onto the people who are perceived as weaker than us.
And the way it fits into pop culture is like it's almost a perfect storm of birth rates dropping, social media becoming as popular and as common as it is, women being more predisposed to it to liking social media than men, and then having these figures exist in the cultural space to then pluck at all of those things together and turn it into something that I don't think the average business person even thinks that it's going to turn into. They just want to make a profit. Virgin Airlines or whoever the hell sponsored that isn't thinking about the downfall of Western civilization. They're thinking about how can we look good as a Fortune 500 company for this.
Yep.
Like, and there's just something about it that's just, it's deeply unsettling to me, and I don't think I'll ever be able to really reconcile what that is. And a lot of what it is this was an event for LGBTQIA plus group, fine. But if this is to happen to like somebody like Caitlyn Jenner, when it's not just an LGBTQ magazine, but it's just a magazine cover for all women, it really does laugh in the face of biological women's issues.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a $20 one here from Gordon Shumway. Sorry, buddy, I didn't see this one. He says, Dylan is a genius. Says, Dylan is a genius. Figured out how to mansplain to women without getting called out. Because trans and women will not only listen, they will cheer you on. This could have been a Bud Light Real Men of Genius. Well played. Yes, I do miss the Real Men of Genius commercials. Those were fantastic.
I mean, women are just never going to put their foot down to stop this.
Nope.
So we're just going to see how far these depths of insanity go.
It is crazy that women won't.
No, it's not. It's not crazy if you think about women's inherent nature. Like, they're not capable of going against the groupthink. They have this collectivist mindset, and But they're not. But the thing is, like, women got the vote by convincing men that they needed to get the vote or they deserved to get the vote, which is more fine. Of by a shame tactic. Fair enough, but why aren't women shaming men into stopping this then? Because they do have the ability. Men do what women want. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone talks about like men. Like are in charge or run the world, blah blah blah, and men are the ones that are actively doing things in the world. All of it is because of women. Like all the things men do is to make the world safe for their women and children. That's why. Like they want to. There are an exceedingly few ultra high performing dudes that go out there and want to like beat everybody and blah blah blah. But the vast majority of men do what they do to make women happy, and that's why our society now is so. That's why we have air conditioning, and plumbing. Look, if you listen to the guy that created, I think it was tampons. Like he went through a huge, massive pain in the ass to make tampons, and he didn't do it for him. He did it for his wife or whatever. It's like these men do things because they want to make women happy. Because we are inherently designed by nature to want to make women happy, you know? And that type of guilt tactic usually works. Yeah, but it's also not always. Men have made society so comfortable and safe for women to make it a habitable environment for growing families. Yeah, that guy. And then we got so comfortable that we had nothing to do, and we started thinking ourselves into this type of insanity. That's my biggest problem with feminism. Feminists and women that tend to hate men, they either think all men are their dad or they think all men are the president. And it's like they never think of the guys that are getting up and cutting trees or going out and working on the sewers, or, you know, dudes that are out there restoring the power when it's freezing cold or when it's pouring rain or whatever. Like, it's all men do all the hard jobs, and then women have the audacity, and it's not all women, it's the feminists and stuff, but feminists have the audacity to bitch about men as if all men are all ultimately powerful. It's like they're bitching because the tail end of a bell curve is all men. Shut the hell up. It is something that I think all of us could do better, would be to get away from the generalizations. It has to be done in conversations like this a lot of times, because it's a way to kind of push the discussion forward. You can't stop every single time to say not all this, not all that, even if it would be beneficial possibly to do so. But I think everybody falls into those traps, right, where you give these generalized descriptions and then the society is the worse for it. That's why I try and point to feminists as opposed to women. Like, it's not all women, it's feminists, and it's women that have that attitude. Well, some people say that because of the way women are raised, all of them are feminists now. Well, I don't think that they all have feminist attitudes, even if they don't identify with that political movement. I think that there's some truth to that, but I think that I don't think trad women kind of think like that. But there might be an argument that, you know, that it's you know, more prevalent than I'm, you know, giving credit to it. But that is still at the root of it. That's the situation. You know, women, feminists, women that hate men, feminists and stuff, they act like all men are either the president or their dad. Yeah. And that's it. It's like there's no dudes that are, you know,
that are just downtrodden, just trying to get by, just trying to make their families happy. You know, it's like that doesn't happen at all.
It makes me think about think about how bad it is. Whenever we elect a new president, and then the other side is Joe Biden does something stupid, and it's like, oh my God, the Democrats are all evil, and then Trump gets in office. Oh my gosh, the Republicans are all evil. Just think what's going to happen when there actually is a female president, and it just goes see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We elect a woman, and now we're at war in the Middle East, as if we weren't already at war in the Middle East generations beforehand. But you know that's going to happen. We're going to those discussions are going to be everywhere.
Look at what happened with Barack Obama. There's a ton of people that with an inkling of racism and that are just like, oh look, Barack Obama, blah blah blah. And the thing is, it's hard to talk about the legitimately awful things that because of that. Yeah. It's really tough to talk about the legitimately bad things. I talk about this on Timcast all the time. Barack Obama signed a bill that made it okay for the federal government to propagandize the American people. It's called the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. The Smith-Mundt Act initially said the State Department can't create materials to disseminate inside the U.S. And the point of that is the government doesn't get to have an opinion about the government. The government reflects the will of the people. Now, because Barack Obama signed that NDAA in 2012, the government can produce material that is disseminated into the United States, and it happened just at the same time that a cell phone, or the basically pocket computers, reached market saturation, and the most powerful mind control device ever created was in everybody's pocket. And now you've got, if you talk to people, so many people are like, man, in 2012, 13, everything seemed to start going crazy. And since then, people are like, oh man, the world is really crazy now, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like that before, blah, blah, blah. Well, there is a whole generation of people that are now turning 18, 19, 20, 21 that don't have a significant memory of that. Yeah. So all they know is this crazy partisanship and stuff, and I think a lot of it is driven by the fact that the federal government is propagandizing people constantly with the cell phones and with social media. You talk about the FBI had a desk at Twitter. You know they have a desk at Google. You know they have a desk at Facebook. It's like, that's exactly what it was like when the Stasi in East Germany existed. Like, that's what happens in China. Every single business has a CCP desk, and there's a person that works for the government in every business. And it's like, that's what's happening in America. And most people are almost unaware of it.
Yep. All right, let's go to Super Chats. We got some up there.
Francisco Sanchez Jr. said, oh, sorry, that's a $20. Aardvark said, talking Taco Bell talk for the last couple episodes. I went to Taco Bell after 3 years. Now Taco Bell is the city's problem. Taco Bell.
How do you feel about Taco Bell, Phil?
I love Taco Bell.
What do you get?
I tend to get the steak quesadillas and then just the regular crunchy tacos, the Supremes with the tomatoes and cream cheese. They're delicious.
Mary, what do you get? You mix it up.
Yeah, I mix it up.
Oh, really? Yeah. They change the menu so frequently. I find it difficult to know for sure what I like, so I tend to go back to the well, because those are the things that I'm really into. I don't want Fritos and everything. They got a deal with Lay's or whatever. Now everything Taco Bell makes has either Fritos or Doritos inside of it, and I don't want that shit inside of it.
I think my favorite was somebody said Taco Bell is the only fast food place that I go to where I just vibe. Where he's like every other fast food place I go to, I know exactly what I'm getting before I go there. Taco Bell, I look at the menu and just let it take me where it takes me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, here's what you do: you get, I call it a backup burger, but it works at anywhere. You get something that you know you like, and then you also get something that's an experiment. So that way, if the experiment fails and you hate it, you've got your backup burger, and 2 cheeseburgers and whatever the funky weird thing that you want to get at the burger place, but you know the cheeseburgers are going to be good.
So you got your backup Supreme taco.
Yeah.
Taco Supreme.
Well, I mean, you get more than
Mine's the Crunchwrap.
Crunchwrap Supreme.
Smart.
Shane H. Wilder said, first they go after Phil with a Fank account. Now Mary. This indiscretion will not stand. Not on my watch.
Thank you, Shane H. Wilder, for always, first for the memes and second for standing up for them.
Takti Plati said, Phil, the best failed musician. Keep it up.
Yes!
Do one more. Do Quiet and Ari.
Name of daily live rosary reading from YouTube. It's called Rosary Crew with Keith Nestor.
There you go. All right, Mary, tell us what's going on with Bobbi Alt-Right.
Yeah. Bobbi Althoff, now being called Bobbi Alt-Right, is a podcaster. Her podcast is called The Really Good Podcast. And she has gotten a lot of hate for her dry, awkward sense of humor. She tries to exaggerate awkward silences with her guests.
Do you like that type of humor?
No.
Does that work for you?
No, I hate it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hate it. She's gotten really big guests on her podcast that raised alarm bells for people, calling her an industry plant. The first of those was Drake, and it just seemed to pop up out of nowhere. Then she got signed by Drake's talent agency. And now she's getting accused of racism. And the reason for that is people believe she is building her podcasting career off of appropriating Black culture, interviewing Black celebrities and people who are in the rap and hip hop world when she doesn't really understand or appreciate it. And she capitalizes off of just kind of being around Black people and looking uncomfortable. I guess that's basically her shtick.
That is Hollywood in a nutshell. Like,
is it?
Hollywood writers in a nutshell. I totally buy that. I do.
What do you mean?
Okay, so like a lot of people will talk about how they have like a tendency to like feminize Black men in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like I totally buy it that this is.
It's interesting that Drake went on her podcast just because he never does interviews, notoriously, and has extreme control over his image. Yeah, his media presence and his image. He doesn't let anything go to air without his complete approval and control. So it seemed weird that he just hopped on the podcast with this random person we've never heard of before, and then she signed to his agency, and this agency doesn't have any clients that are podcasters. Yeah. So it does make her seem like an industry plant, but her story is that she's a self-made woman.
And the point of this clip is that she does this interview.
Well, she interviewed Scarlett Johansson, which is really weird, right?
Another person.
Why is Scarlett Johansson doing this? Her agent told her, like, this is what's hot right now. You need to do this. So she breaks character, at least seems to break character in her interview with Scarlett Johansson. She's like fixing her hair. They're doing girl talk. And then everyone is like, oh, so she only breaks character when she's around white people. Because she feels uncomfortable around Black people.
I don't think
that what's going on?
I don't think what they're saying is fair. I don't. Like, I think it's completely plausible that maybe she just is like a really big Scarlett Johansson fan. Maybe.
I don't know.
Like, I'm just saying there's more than one explanation for something like this that could be 100%.
Do you want to play the clip of them?
Well, let's we'll play it for Phil when he gets back. So here we go. Okay. Here's that clip here.
You use this?
Yeah, that's all I use.
That's it?
Yeah. It's in that bag over there if you want to take anything else out of it. Feel free.
Actually, before we go on, I have comments about the glasses. Look,
it's the hoodie and the glasses and the bun.
You don't need the serial killer glasses if you're Scarlett Johansson. Could you just wear some regular glasses, please? Like, you don't need the serial killer glasses. As I've told this story before, look, I was once forced to wear those glasses as a punishment. The glasses with the bar. But they're
stylish now.
The glasses with the bar across the top, Phil. Have you ever seen those, right? So when I was younger, I was basically told, like, because I kept breaking all my glasses, and my dad said, you will get only these glasses unless you make these last at least a year. So the fact that somebody would choose these willingly is actually insulting to me. I'm highly offended.
Glasses. They're probably not real.
Yeah, right? So, that's even worse. Oh, that's another thing. Look.
Well, look, the girl, like, Scarlett Johansson's hot, so...
Fake glasses is also, like, I think people should wear fake hearing aids. Like, are there... fake, if you're going to pretend to have a disability, you should wear fake hearing aids. What if they're blue blockers? Like, I'm about to buy blue blocker glasses for, like, wearing in the evening before I go to bed. Okay. Because it's supposed to help you sleep better. But is that, like, out of hand? All I'm saying is when I see somebody with perfect 20/20 vision that's never had to just...
Brett's very offended.
I'm very offended.
I don't know.
I'm deeply offended at the idea that somebody would wear my disability as a mask.
As a costume.
I can't take it, and frankly, I'm gonna raise hell.
Go get LASIK.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, I have considered that, but it's just like making the time for it. Yeah. And I've gotten like, it's one of those things where it's like you should wait for somebody to give you like, I want to get 5 good, like like recommendations in a row. I don't want, if I get to 3 and then the 4th person every time says no, don't do it, I feel like I need to get 5 in a row that tell me that it's a good idea.
It's the best thing that I ever did is getting LASIK. So, or one of the best things, not the best thing.
All right, let's listen to this interview. So Phil, people are mad because Bobbi Althoff did this interview with Scarlett Johansson and she broke character. So they think, what is it? They think that she's doing it.
Bobbi Althoff is only comfortable around white people because she's racist.
Here we go.
You use this? Yeah, that's all I use.
That's it?
Yeah. It's in that bag over there if you want to take anything else out of it. Feel free.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
They were telling me there's like something for slicked back.
Sure. You could slick back your hair. Or you can use this.
Can I put some of that on your hair? Because there's a piece that's like.
Is there?
Yeah.
Would you?
I would love to.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Why is it driving you crazy?
A little bit.
Your hair is very smooth.
You know, I had a hair person come and do mine.
Oh, I didn't.
But I didn't know I could just use this. And
Yeah.
I was like,
This is why she's racist?
There, look at that.
Is it better?
That's amazing.
Not bad, right?
Wait, look at that. It's like
smoother.
Oh, it's like perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, that was really.
Thank you.
You should do like a little before and after.
Can you see? Can you get the little hairs from there?
You had like
a whole bunch of flyaways.
No, that's a piece that was just like huge and just not.
We're looking crazy.
I could keep going. I just wanted to fix the front. That was the only part.
So she does seem a little bit like she's like.
And she does this for 3 hours, and people watch this like for fun. That's crazy.
Yeah.
To me, like that's incredibly boring. But yeah,
the top comment literally says, "So she just hated colored people all along."
So this quote tweet said, landing an interview with a white woman and immediately dropping her entire gimmick and just being nice instead is so insane.
What's
LMAO.
her gimmick? Is her gimmick just
her gimmick is
her
just
gimmick
that type
is
of
to
humor.
be slightly rude, to be awkward, play into the interview being awkward. She doesn't know anything about their
awkward
career.
when you're like touching people's head is kind of awkward. Like
Yeah, I thought that video was sufficiently awkward, but they're saying that she's being too nice.
maybe Scarlett Johansson just kind of dealt with it well.
No,
and that
yeah, I
made
think
it
she
less.
played. I think she knew how to, like, she was actually trying to get her to lean into it, and she wasn't leaning into it.
Yeah, when
Look-
she's interviewed rappers, they kind of try to push back on her and they take it a little too personally.
Actual Justice Warrior Sean has this saying that the supply of racism isn't nearly enough to meet the demand.
Yes.
And that's factually true. I made a joke about, or not a joke, but I made a comment about Mia Khalifa, and I was like, look at those eyebrows. And within moments, someone was on Twitter and someone was like, that's kind of racist. And I was like, shut up. And I was just like, I laughed at him, and I was like, and I retweeted his tweet and made fun of him, because that's what you need to do when people accuse you of racism. If you're not racist, don't accept someone's accusation. Like, if you're just like, oh, I don't hate anyone, like I'm just making a comment, don't just ignore people or mock them when they call you racist, because that's the only way we're going to get past this idea that every single basically what's the word, microaggression is some kind of awful affront to an entire group of people. It's ridiculous. And the more we ignore it and mock people that make those kind of accusations, the better off society's going to be.
We got a $20 one here from the I can't read the whole name here, but it looks like, can you see the whole name there, Mary?
The Manic Mustache said, hey gang, late as always, but apropos to Short Kings, my wife told me she almost didn't go out on our second date because I lied about my height. I put 5'6" in my profile, but I'm really 5'6 3/4. She was just a little disappointed.
Oh, so you were like, you rounded down. Good for you, buddy.
None of that's true.
Don't lie about it.
None of it's true.
Don't lie about it.
That whole tweet was a lie, but it was worth $20. So
So here are some of the insane responses.
The responses on this are insane.
Yeah, Bobbi Althoff's entire gimmick has always felt racist to me. The clips of her Scarlett Johansson interview is a perfect example. Another one said, stop giving Bobbi Althoff interviews with black artists. Look at this BS. She's not being odd or weird. She's engaging and not being disrespectful. Stop giving this bitch views. Her racist ass used these black artists to get views for treating them as if they stink. Another one said, Bobbi Althoff's type of racist white blasé. Like, what even is hip-hop? Post-ironic attitude towards black culture, still being obsessed with engaging in it. is so prominent in alt and hipster circles in the early 2000s.
It really
were
does
people
feel
just
like
not
that.
there for it, or did y'all forget?
It does feel like that. I mean, it kind of, like you said, it feels like an offshoot of like Aubrey Plaza, who just did better humor. Was just better anyways.
Yeah, another one said Bobbi Althoff thinks she's Nathan Fielder, except she's not funny and probably racist.
Also, remember, that was like a 30-second clip of a 3-hour interview.
Someone commented, what if she touched a black woman's hair? Like that would have really gotten her.
Or even
some hate.
or made comments about it at all.
Yeah.
Like that would have gotten extreme backlash
Right.
from her on that. So
Another one said, bro, how and why the fuck is Bobbi Althoff famous? I can't stand her. Most milquetoast, racist, Nathan Fielder wannabe ass MF I've ever seen.
It's so ridiculous.
Why is she popular though? Because her podcast sucks. I think objectively.
Do you think she's an industry plant? Do you is in so much as
Who
that
isn't?
term can be in that term can be applied?
I mean, even Drake has been called an industry plant.
Like anything that the mainstream machine pushes to have succeed would technically be kind of an industry plant.
Right.
Right?
I just think that the accusation resonates more with her because her podcast isn't good.
Yeah.
Like, you could call Drake an industry plant, but you can't say that his music wasn't genuinely good and popular.
Well,
because it was good.
You can make. There's plenty of people that could make the argument that it's not good, but you can't say that it's not popular. The same would actually be fair to say about her. She's got a lot of views, so yes. She could be considered an industry plant insofar as they're saying that it doesn't feel like it is a natural following.
She has views because of the guests, not because of her. Like, I don't see the appeal in her gimmick. I don't think it's racist. I just think it's not funny. Another person,
but that is subjective, right?
Yeah.
Like there are tons of people that like it, and that's fine. But it's just that it's a bit of a mystery here because it doesn't appeal to us, which is fine. But like you said, it's landing all of those guests right away,
right,
without really having a digital footprint that shows the work that showed you leading up.
Then
to
she interviewed Lil Yachty. Then she interviewed Offset, and all of these different people who are like seemingly untouchable, unreachable. And they're also mad at those rappers that they haven't done interviews with black interviewers, like Breakfast Club, you know, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, you can't tell someone who, like, what they should do for their interviews.
No, like for something like this, I have a hard time. I completely disagree with the assessment that they're making that what she did was in any way racist. I think that's ridiculous. I do have a hard time like judging the outset of like the show being a plant, because it's like the guest part, yes, the part about the guests just magically appearing and getting all that work,
and
sure.
her getting signed like a week later.
Yeah, but the idea that it's not popular or doesn't resonate is kind of silly, because the views, unless we're saying that those views were bought.
No.
Or those views are bots, then it's just, look, the world is big.
Her gimmick
8 billion people in the world. There's bound to be a couple million that like that type of humor.
Her gimmick, more than being racist, it's more like a I'm not like other girls shtick. Like,
Somebody
she
in
did
the
a
chat-
video at a Drake concert where these girls were dancing and she's just standing there with her arms crossed looking unimpressed. And then she also does a video where she's at a strip club and there are these dancers around her and people throwing money, and she's doing the same thing where she crosses her arms and looks like not uncomfortable but like full of contempt.
Somebody made an interesting point. They said she wants like all these people doing this gimmick want to be Daria.
It's Daria, it's Nathan Fielder, it's Aubrey Plaza. But
would her podcast do well if it was just her?
No.
Because, I mean, it's not the format.
I mean, she was relatively successful making TikToks that were like mom content, you know?
Nothing wrong with that.
Like, some people are saying people misunderstand her gimmick because they say her character isn't based on her being white and not knowing black culture. It's based on her being a mom who isn't familiar with any pop culture. Don't ruin a good thing.
Yeah.
It says, if you think Bobbi Althoff is racist, it just proves people don't want to see a mom succeed.
So anybody can claim victimhood from any angle. Like, unless you're like a straight white dude, you're good. You got some angle you can run.
And if you're a straight white dude, like, no one's gonna care. So just shut up and like do better.
Might be the only time I've heard the term "do better" where it actually applies.
Here's another rant. Bobbi Althoff makes me deeply uncomfortable. The premise of her whole gig is acting uncomfy around black people who aren't dressed preppy and code switching for her. I hate it so much. It's not new or fresh apart from being racist. Is it comedy to act like your ignorant grandma? Also, I'm sorry, but it's not a talent to have a scowl on your face everywhere. She's an effing nobody who has access to all these celebs and thinks it's so cool to have a holier-than-thou demeanor. Like, grow up. This isn't entertaining in the least.
But that's the thing. That's a subjective. The last part is a subjective opinion.
I find it more annoying when interviewers fawn over the person that they're interviewing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're so iconic. Like, no.
There's nothing worse than those
cringy.
old like Entertainment Tonight interviews on the red carpet where it's like you can tell that woman has wrote at least one mean thing about that person behind their back to someone in a group chat or on Twitter. Right? It's like they said that who are we talking about recently where they did an interview with her and she says like and everyone knows this is so iconic. I'm like, why are you talking to this person like that? They're a human being. Talk to them like a human being. It's not.
Well,
that
unless you're
difficult.
interviewing Doja Cat and all she does is meow at you.
Yes.
What are you supposed to do then?
That is. I forgot about that.
I would enjoy that. That'd be hilarious.
I do want to see Bobbi Althoff interview Doja Cat.
Like okay,
because who can out irony each other?
There's an interesting discussion like for her manager or the people who line up her interviews where like they have to take her sense of humor, her style into account to figure out like who would be an interesting person.
Maybe they're looking for the person that wouldn't get it and is the most fish out of water.
Like, what would Tom Cruise do in that situation? I think he'd be like, you're being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like
remember that famous video of Tom Cruise telling off the interviewer that sprayed him with a water gun?
Yeah, he's like,
how dare you? Why did you do that? Is something wrong in your home life? Like, do you have some kind of trauma that tells you to make people uncomfortable in social situations?
Just imagine
you just ruined this guy's whole life. Like,
a multi-millionaire Scientologist is just moral high grounding you.
It's insane.
It's hilarious.
They're also prophesying. This controversy has gone so far that they are prophesying Bobbi Althoff's old racist tweets getting exposed to finally cancel her once and for all. She doesn't have old racist tweets. They just want her to have old racist tweets. Like, they get off on it.
There's a $20 one here from Boosted Yogi. Says, I prefer the way Tim interviews celebrities and makes them walk off the show.
Yeah, how would Kanye deal with a Bobbi Althoff interview?
That would honestly be really, really funny.
It wouldn't last long, I'm sure.
I don't know if I buy that. I think that he might be able to like weird in that situation. Like, depending on how disrespectful her joke comments were, if they were disrespectful, it would be interesting to see what that would look like. Or maybe we could have her interview Bianca Censori.
I think that Kanye would try to date Bobbi Althoff and get her a boob job.
There you go. Over a game of Uno.
Yeah.
Over a game of Uno.
That's some master Riz right there. You're playing a game of Uno and he's like, you want a boob job? I'll pay for it.
Do you think at one point, like one of these, like somebody from Gen Z is going to have to get in and like they're going to have to write current racist tweets to be like for future, like for posterity? Like, I don't have any yet, so I need to say them now so that in 20 years, if I get famous, somebody can use this against me.
I don't think she's 26. Is she old enough to have old racist tweets?
She might not have been around long enough to have old racist tweets.
I said the most surprising thing about Bobbi Althoff is that she is married and has a couple of kids.
Family, yeah.
That's more rare.
What if she interviewed Joe Rogan?
Ooh.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
Because he's too sincere and too invested.
Yeah.
And she's too disconnected and cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's just be a recipe for really like.
But I like cringe content. I just don't find Bobbi Althoff interviews cringe because it's manufactured.
Yeah.
If it were an organic interaction, that would be entertaining. But their managers planned this. Someone's getting paid.
Like, we need to. I'm surprised what they didn't invest in her and would be to do the on the street interviews. Like, I feel like her type of humor would work better.
Well, there's a British Bobbi Althoff who has also been accused of racism. Her name's Amelia. She does chicken shop dates. She interviews.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she interviews mostly black people at a chicken shop in the UK, and she's also been accused of the same thing. She uses black celebrities to give her a platform when she herself is not that compelling. But she has less hate because people find her more likable than Bobbi Althoff.
Yeah. I wonder if Scarlett Johansson was just really good at rolling with the punches, so it kind of screwed with the flow of it, right? Like, it seemed like Scarlett Johansson was trying to ease her back into her character. Like, she was trying to ease Bobbi Althoff back into the Bobbi Althoff character, and Bobbi Althoff didn't know how to do, like, what to do with that. Because Scarlett Johansson's been a veteran actor for a long time, and if she's been told the gig beforehand, like, this is the
you need to go into it with no warning.
Yeah, kind of, right? Like, but that might lead. The problem with that is, like, you might get a bunch of reactions that are bad, and then the interview gets canceled, and you lose out on a bunch.
And also, a big name like Scarlett Johansson, she's not going to go into an interview with no warning. Like, if I get put into an interview, like, I know who I'm talking to, and I know what they're going to be talking about. Like, and I'm like, a dude in a metal band. Never mind, like, someone like an A-list actor.
Well, she ended up deleting her interview with Drake, and they unfollowed each other on social media. So, not sure what happened there. Then Dave Portnoy was spreading this rumor that Bobbi Althoff hooked up with Drake and is divorcing her husband. That never happened.
Very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. All right, let's go to Super Chat, shall we?
Papa Piker said, name is from Sitch Adams Show 149, where chatters role-played members of Hassan's family. Some of my best Super Chat work, Adam called me a comedy genius.
Well, you are a comedy genius.
Nice.
Shane H. Wilder said jalapeno chips for the win.
I don't do the jalapeno chips.
I like jalapenos.
Papa Piker said Jada once tortured Will with a massive dose of weed and three party-sized bags of salt and vinegar chips.
That's, like, for a dude who makes his living in front of the camera, that's kind of evil.
Well, I mean, one bag is fine.
Is that true? Or
kind of evil.
Sparrow said, hey, Phil, is there anything you can tell me about applying the Ars Notoria to music? Aspiring audio engineer and huge fan. Sorry, just got my account back.
I cannot tell you anything about that. I have no idea. I'm not a producer.
One more.
Yurishima Otaru said, where is the teachers union for this guy? F unions.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the teachers union was at fault for him getting fired. So...
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's move on. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with the SAG strike. We've just wrapped up. They've officially ratified the Writers Guild strike, but the SAG strike is still going strong. And there's an article in Variety today that says SAG-AFTRA alleges bully tactics as studios suspend negotiations. I find that funny because I consistently, whenever we do any type of story that involves these unions, I call them union bullies because they are absolutely bullies.
They've used bullying tactics on their own members.
They're cry bullies, worse than anything. And the big part that gets mentioned in this article, so talks broke down after they thought they were going well. It says, in a statement to members after midnight, the union accused studios of engaging in bully tactics and said that the studios had walked away from the bargaining table after refusing to counter the union's latest offer. This is the most interesting part. It says the key stumbling block is a union proposal to share in streaming revenue with the AMPTP, which would cost $800 million a year. Now, that is the studio's estimate of these revenue sharing costs, not the union's estimate of what the revenue sharing cost would be. It says, we have negotiated with them in good faith, despite the fact that last week they presented an offer that was shockingly worth less than they proposed before the strike began, says the SAG-AFTRA told membership. These companies refuse to protect performers from being replaced by AI. They refuse to increase your wages to keep up with inflation, and they refuse to share a tiny portion of the immense revenue your work generates for them. SAG-AFTRA wants to share a streaming revenue for all union-covered shows, both made for streaming and films and TV shows licensed from other platforms, which would go well beyond the success-based bonuses won by the Writers Guild. We're not talking profit sharing. We're talking people that have no financial investment in these projects looking for revenue sharing.
So that comes from what you called the big socialist pot of revenue that Netflix keeps from all of their projects collectively.
Yeah, because there's no ad based other than the ad tier.
Most of that revenue will come from people who subscribe to keep watching their most successful shows like Stranger Things.
Yeah, the ones that rewatch.
Not to watch Warrior Nun. So any of the shows that are losing money they're saying because they're covered by the union, we should still get a share of revenue from projects other than our own.
Which is the opposite of merit-based.
Right.
It pushes away from that.
So the Writers Guild agreements seem to reward people for making actually good content. Like it will reward people for good quality content finally, when before that they didn't value merit at all.
I don't mind the idea of like, give some of these actors the ability to enter producer roles where they can invest in their projects, right? Where they
That's
can
what they did for
financially-
Jenna Ortega on Wednesday.
Exactly. They should be doing that so that like, look, you want to share in the profits, the revenue, you should financially invest in the profit. That's what happens at a Fortune 500 company, right? You can work for a company like Disney, but you can also buy stock in a company that you work for.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like, why aren't these companies?
It said that SAG-AFTRA is asking for 57 cents per subscriber per year on all streaming platforms.
And look, they also reference this as the same failed strategy as the writer's strike.
Where would this money go?
To the union directly, I'm guessing. I don't know.
But what? Okay, this isn't for the actors. This is for the union.
Yes.
What is the union going to spend it on?
politicians.
Like, are they going to use it on health insurance?
Health insurance,
No.
yeah.
On retirement funds?
But the
On
point
any
is,
of
like,
that?
I'm just shocked at the idea that you're in a job where you get a flat fee to do a job, right? What makes entertainment so different, especially on a streaming platform where this isn't network television, where your stuff is being replayed with ads over it?
This is gay, but I think the reason they think it's different when they're working in entertainment rather than a normal job is because their heart is in it, you know?
That's
like, oh wait, I put
that's
so much of
stupid.
my heart into these projects. I deserve more than someone who is fixing a toilet. Like, that's what I think their thought process actually is.
I think that the unions right now are focused on external wins, meaning like the articles that say they got what they wanted from these deals. But the studios want the quiet wins, which is they get to cancel all the projects that they don't want to do anymore. They get to belt tighten the way they even mentioned in this other article. It says like, what does Hollywood look like post-strike? They admit in this article, streaming is not a profitable business model. There are only two streaming services that operate at a profit. That is Netflix and Hulu. Those are the only ones.
Oh, it didn't mention Hulu, but it said that things like Disney Plus or Paramount Plus or Peacock, all of these
all lose money.
They all lose money. They all have theoretically plans to make money eventually. Like, they're all saying, oh, we'll break even by the end of 2024. It never seems to work out. And Netflix reported a $6.5 billion profit last year. It seems like Netflix
what
is
did
the only
what
one.
did they invest in? What did they put into it is what I want to know. Like, how much money is put into it every year? And most of that revenue comes from the same shows and comedy specials, not from
comes
the
from
Warrior
people
Nuts.
rewatching
Yes.
Suits and rewatching
Exactly.
Psych and Seinfeld and Friends.
That's why every time The Office license deal ends, it becomes a mad dash to see who's going to be the next streaming service to finally get The Office on there, because it's actually drawing eyeballs to the platform. The other thing is, like, look, the unions used the strike to tighten budgets and to get rid of all of these like first look deals that they didn't want to go forward with anyway, and they want to move towards an industry that is no longer success divorced from compensation, meaning like what they were doing before was like large upfront payouts and costs on shows with no return on investment. Now they want to put medium-sized budgets and reward you if the show actually does well. But what's going to end up happening is if they want merit-based, the media, when they want a show to succeed, they'll just manufacture buzz for a show like they always do.
Yep.
Right? They will just start writing 1,000 articles about the show that nobody's watching, where there's no honest buzz about it, and they're going to have to find a way around that, because when there's buzz for a show now, it's not connected to the media. It's connected to social media. The reason why Dahmer was as great as it was had nothing to do with the fact that that they were writing articles about it. It turned into memes.
Or the success of Wednesday.
Exactly.
It wasn't necessarily because it was like a great show. I enjoyed it. It was fine, but it was because people made TikTok dances. It turned into a social media frenzy.
Exactly. And the other thing is like when in the other article, these streaming services, which right now have to like button up their tie and lie to investors, it says like the quote was, streaming profitability will come led by advertisers and getting value propositions right. So just cable again.
Right.
Cable.
Yeah, well, what they're planning to do is raise the prices of ad-free tiers
and ad tiers. Netflix is raising the ad tier,
but just make everyone retreat to the ad tiers, so that they can make advertiser money.
And they talk about how peak in 2017, the head of FX talked about how peak television is done. I still maintain that television peaked in 2012 or 2013 when the really, really good shows were spread amongst 5 to 6 several networks, including cable. And the head of FX basically says, look, at this time, there was 400 and something shows on the air. That's not tenable. You can't do that forever. There aren't enough people to be like, there's just not enough interest in all of this stuff for everybody to watch, to develop large audiences for all of these shows. That number is now ballooned to almost 600. That's insane. Like, people don't have that much time. And a lot of people, whether you like it or not, they're gonna be like, look, I don't know what to watch. Oh, look at that meme about Jenna Ortega. I'm gonna go watch Wednesday.
The result is actually a good thing, which means they're gonna stop taking risks on shitty shows.
And that's going to end up, then there was this other article where they talk about how what that's going to do is it's going to hurt the diversity, equity, and inclusion crowd, because they're going to go back to merit-based policies. This is from an article from Yahoo that says Hollywood minority writers fear diversity downfall. And it says employment figures for the industry back up claims that minority writers are underrepresented. The share of Black, Indigenous, and people of color in the screen employment was 22.6% in 2020, while the groups accounted for make up 42% of the United States population. White people held 77.4% of the jobs, represented 57.8% of the population, according to the report. Disabled people hold 1% of writing roles for television series, pilots, screenplays, yet 27% of America reports a disability.
I just get really warm, fuzzy feelings when I watch a show and I know that 20% of the writers on the show were disabled. That really makes me feel good about myself.
Is it just me, or is this stuff actually starting to reach the point, or I feel like it's reached the point where it's just mockable so much that people just, I can't take any of it seriously. It's so ridiculous.
I tweeted about this yesterday. I was like, look, these companies are supposedly profit-seeking entities worth billions of dollars. When you go out to buy a car, or when you go to pick what doctor to take your kids to, you don't ask what percentage of the doctors are disabled.
The craziest part of that, just on its face, is I thought, the majority of people who are disabled in this country are already retired anyway.
I bet you they're counting like ADHD in this. And
is ADHD like, according to the government, a disability?
I don't know if they're talking physical disability only, or if they're talking about what percentage of the American population, what percentage of people with mental illnesses are writing scripts these days?
Too many. Well, why would you want someone with ADHD writing a script? They're not going to be productive enough. Selfishly, I want this strike to go another 6 days so that it ends up being longer than the 1980 strike. But I want it to end primarily because I want actors to start doing promo interviews for their projects again, so we can talk about the stupid things that they say.
Yeah, we are kind of in like a dry spell right now.
Yeah.
They also talk about in the other article about how like one of the big things that's going to go bye-bye is movies for people over the age of 35. So the movies you're going to get are going to be even more dumbed down.
I think that so Tim talks about this on IRL a lot. In the future, you're going to be able to just tell AI, make this for me, and it will go ahead and create it. Like, make this movie. I want to watch a movie about blah, blah, blah.
As Gen Z dies off, or as millennials die off, and in the Gen Z, the one that were raised on Coco Melon and then
Mr. Beast.
And went to Mr. Beast and YouTube rather than actually ever living really through a terrestrial TV
I have
age.
no idea what you said.
Yeah.
That's what this says, is young people are on YouTube and TikTok. People in the middle, like millennials, Gen X, they're watching streaming services, and the older people are still quickly dying off and watching cable. It's going to die soon. So
I don't feel like, and maybe I'm just a little more technically savvy than most of the people my age, but I don't feel like the age of the person is going to make a difference once people realize, oh, you can just type in, hey, make me this, and it'll make it for you.
I think it speaks to their interest, because my generation grew up at a time where there were still movie stars. My time grew up at a time where like you actually like there are like when we went to see Oppenheimer, there are the term Nolan bro is it sounds like a joke, but it's a thing. There are people who they go there to see his art, not to see some type of script that might be a facsimile of what he might create. So I'm just saying,
Or they see
as our
Top
generation
Gun
dies
Maverick
off,
because Tom Cruise is in it.
But it won't. I don't think. I mean, maybe there will be people that are still, you know, people that are older that are still interested in actors and stuff. But I don't know that. I mean, why wouldn't you just say make a movie with blah blah blah? You know, with the actor that I want, because AI is not going to be limited to just It is likely that AI is not going to be limited by things like, oh, you can't have this person in it, or you can't have, etc. And if Tim's right, and I think that he's probably onto something, if it's true that you're going to be able to have AI generate it, what's the point of waiting for it?
I'm saying it'll be at the behest of like I do think the age makes a difference here. Like for me, knowing that actor didn't like choose to do that role would actually color how I take it.
The idea of giving an
to
AI a prompt to make a movie for me is like, I would never want to do that.
There are
like,
already
that's
people
not
that do that with
appealing to
music.
me.
There are
No,
already
and that's what I was
tons
going
of
to get
people
into. I
that
said,
do
like, I feel like it's a little bit the same as music, that maybe you're right, that like the people will be, but that to me, that's a novelty. Like, to me, it's a novelty to hear a song that I already know that wasn't created by AI.
I mean, I understand that it
sounds.
sounds. I mean, you're making a supply side argument, right? Like, people don't know what they want until you show them.
Yeah,
right?
in a lot of ways.
People would say, so like the supply side economics argument is when you have an economy that can create innovations and things, that's when people are like, ooh, that I want. You didn't know you wanted an iPhone until the iPhone was created. So people won't know that they like, or they won't know that they can get this thing unless, or that they have the option unless it's put in front of them. You know what I mean?
I feel like it would end up becoming a subgenre rather than the rule, because I feel like for I lost my point. What was I had such a great point to make too. It was so great. But I feel like it'll end up becoming a subgenre that certain people like. Because okay, no. So what it is? Think about when people go on Netflix and they spend an hour scrolling. They don't choose anything. They like there's the people who say like, I wait to make my food until I decide what I want to watch, because otherwise I'll make my food and it'll be cold by the time I actually. You wait for the screen to just like that. That's an active process in your brain to make those decisions that I think people don't want to make.
People get frozen because they have too many options.
Yes.
That happens. You don't know what you want, or you see multiple things and you can't make a decision.
Well,
That's
Netflix
why if you give people like 2 or 3 options, they can make a decision. When you give them 50 options, they're like,
what am I supposed to do with this?
I don't know.
Netflix still makes money off of you even if you sit there scrolling all night.
Like if somebody's like, okay, we got this movie and you can have it star Tom Cruise, Denzel Washington, Bruce Willis, and they listen 10 actors. I'm going to spend an hour trying to think of which of those 10 actors I want to fit in there, and then I'm going to have to think which one of the 10 actors who's going to play his antagonist am I going to have to put in there. By the time I've made that decision, I'm ready for bed for all those things.
I don't find that idea appealing.
I feel like that it's like
we'll
maybe
see when we get there.
Maybe generations down the line as how we actually consume content changes.
I think that you guys are going to be surprised at how fast people glob onto stuff like that, and I think that the cell phone was something that really kind of made me believe that, because the pocket computer, essentially, there's only a handful of people that I know that once they saw what a cell phone could do were like, no, I don't want it. I think I know 3 people that don't have a modern day smartphone that they're like, I want my flip phone, or I have this kind of thing, and they're all over 60. You know, and then everybody else, even people that are over 60 or whatever, they still are on Facebook. They have their iPhone or smartphone or whatever. So I think that once people see how the function goes, and just so long as it's not super complex, I think that it's something that people would do a lot.
It also what that does to me, and like this is a personal preference here. There's something really depressing about that, because one of the things I love about movies and television is when you see a movie with an actor that you didn't necessarily know about and they give this great performance, or an actor you do know about who you don't think would be good in that role, because maybe it's not the genre. It's like when Jim Carrey started doing stuff that wasn't purely comedy, right? Like, I want to be surprised by the performance from somebody who I didn't imagine in that role, but I'm actually limiting it to like, oh, I can imagine that this actor could do this. So I'm only going to be given what I believe is possible or entertaining to see, rather than what somebody else came up with the idea of and then ends up surprising me. Like, that to me is more joyous than the idea that I can just pick the best actor that I've ever seen for each of these. It's like, to me, it's akin to playing with dolls or playing with your action figures. And I don't see the cinema experience the same way. But you're absolutely right that as technology evolves and as our relationship with technology evolves, that could become more commonplace. But I personally hope that that's not what happens. I don't want that to be where entertainment goes. So, all right, let's go to Super Chats. We kind of went off on a tangent there.
Yeah. Quite Blackboard said, I only watch for the chairs.
Well, yes, we've got one right there.
Want to have the fourth chair join us for a Super Chat?
He was right there. We could put the fourth chair on right now.
Okay.
He's right there. Hi, chair.
John Stewart said, I, for one, welcome our future Catholic dictatoress. Is that the female?
That would be you.
Is that the female for
version
dictator?
Of dictator?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Dictatrix. J-Spot said, if evil exists, that proves the existence of God.
Is that true, Mary?
What was that?
He said, if evil exists, that proves the existence of God. A lot of people believe the opposite. They say if evil exists, that disproves that God exists. What do you say, Phil?
I don't think that the existence of God, or I don't think the existence of evil is indicative of an existence of God.
I think if he were to elaborate, he'd say, if you can distinguish between objective moral evil and moral good, then there has to be a source for that truth. But let's not get into any theological debates on this show. Ebersense said 35K is all the teacher made Asmongold talked to him.
I'm guessing means to the guy.
Don't know.
The one who we talked about earlier.
Airtez 00 said...
we did that one.
Oh, okay. Shane H. Wilder said, the Attitude Awards feels like a cult meeting with Dylan as their own Jim Jones. Yeah.
Guys, can we get... let's get the likes up over 300 on this video. We got 731
Are you our Jim Jones?
That is me. I'm not charismatic enough. I would never be... Trust me, I would love to have that level of charisma, but unfortunately I don't. I would only use it for good, though, of course. I would never use it for evil.
John Stewart said, I nominate Mary for Cass Castle, Woman of the Year. I think that would have to go to Brianna.
Yes, yeah.
He's the rightful winner. Perturbed Alpaca said, Brett, bring up Taco Bell knowing full well the chili cheese burrito is not available nationwide. One of you go eat two for me.
Look, I the funny thing is, here's the thing. When you do a show like this every day, the stories that come to your mind that have informed your life will repeat. And I actually left that story off the Taco Bell discussion because I didn't want to repeat myself for the 100th time. I figured it'll come up again at some point.
Someone is going to remind you.
Somebody will remind me that, yes, I do still laugh at my friends in Florida because they don't have that. They don't have those chili cheese burritos.
ESO said, reminder to buy Cast Brew coffee. This post was not paid for by Tim Pool. Hi, Phil. Hope your day is well.
Thank you.
There you go. Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back after we finish up. Mary, tell us what's going on with this influencer.
There is an influencer named Linda Andrade who is based in Dubai, and her content is essentially her Dubai housewife journey. She is married to a millionaire and brags about all of the luxury items that he purchases for her.
I love that it's a journey. It's like when women now say everything's an era.
Yeah. Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah, she's in her Dubai housewife era.
They have to be.
Now, I want to push back on the belief that this woman is a gold digger.
You think she loves it?
Her content is made to rile people up. It's made to get reactions, and she's flexing on people, but she is not a gold digger.
Do you guys remember, well, you probably don't remember, but there used to be a show called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous that people would watch.
Cribs.
And they didn't hate the people that were rich.
Yeah.
You didn't watch it so that way you could hate on it. And it's just such to me, it's really, really bad that people watch other people and are specifically just angry and envious. Like they just allow the most horrible emotions to take control of them because they don't have it, and it is absolutely disgusting.
We saw that during the sub, when the sub incident happened, the Ocean Gate.
Yeah, people were giddy at the idea of rich people dying in a horrible way.
And I'm not sure what has happened in society to make people like that, but it's really sickening. It's really gross.
Well, my pet theory is that flex culture on social media for influencers reached its peak in the Trump administration in the late 2010s because the economy wasn't quite so bad as it is today in Bidenomics. And we were in the pre-pandemic world. And now people are dealing with a recession that resulted from printing trillions of dollars, and we're feeling the pain from that. So when you see influencers flexing their money on you, you're going to feel that tinge of resentment and that feeling of not have.
Maybe.
And influencers didn't used to get so much flack for flexing their wealth as they do today. Like, it was a trend, actually. It was popular.
Yeah.
There were, Jeffree Star posting pictures of himself with his 17 McLarens.
I mean, it's supposed to be inspirational, right? Like, or that's the
aspirational. You want to get there.
It's supposed to be like, I'm hoping that I can, because the one of the things that was considered the American dream, right, was to be able to aspire to better yourself and stuff. And it used to be that, like, everyone in the narrative was everyone in America that is not a millionaire is a millionaire. They're just currently embarrassed.
Yes.
It's like something's happened and they will be a millionaire soon or whatever. But like right now, there's a problem that they're just dealing with. And once that gets taken care of, then they'll go on. And whereas that's not realistic for everyone, it is a good attitude to have because it's essentially having a white pilled outlook on your life. It's, hey, maybe things are bad right now, but they're going to be better, and I believe that they're going to get better. And that makes people I think that actually is connected to why there's so much depression and suicide is up, is because people are not aspirational the way they used to be. And I don't know exactly how it is to fix that, but still.
I see so much content, so much doomer content that's designed to it's one of the things me and Lydia would go back and forth about, how she would talk a lot about like the housing crisis and everything going on, and I would tell her, I'm like, look, this isn't going to turn people into capitalists. It's going to turn people into communists and socialists because they're being told there's no way out of this problem other than the government. And there's propaganda and doomer propaganda all over the place, especially on social media, because it's a flex to say, like, look how much easier your parents. Now it's like, how can I dump my trauma into this funny video about how I'm not going to get ahead in life?
There's also there's also the fact that people want to be able to hate on other people and feel justified. I forget who said it, but there was a quote that's like, there's no psychological treat that's better than being able to hate someone else and be morally justified in it. Yeah. And I wish that I had the quote right in front of me. But essentially it boils down to, if you can cause harm to someone else, and this goes to why cancel culture is a thing and stuff as well. If you can cause harm to someone else, or put someone else in a position, put yourself above someone else in a justified way, in a way that feels like it's justified and you're in the right, then it's one of the most luscious psychological treats. And I think that you see that with like, not to get into the situation, but like with the Palestine-Israeli thing, like Israel is the powerful one, so people are drawn to support Palestine or Palestinians because they're in the underdog position. They're not, they're the weak power. So it's like, oh, if you support the powerful, then you're doing a moral wrong. If you support the not powerful, then you're doing a moral right. Even if the not powerful literally just like killed a bunch of innocent people.
I think a lot of it is also that there has been a bit of a veil pulled back on the American dream. Look, the middle class has shrunk extensively in this country. Especially, like, think about, like, a lot of it also might be like born out of like how the financial crisis in 2008 watched all the bankers get bailed out, and people are like, look, if they can't fail, like, what hope is that for the rest of us? If like that might have been a really big black pill for a lot of people in a lot of respects, which might be why content like this, especially at times when gas prices are super high, is very hard for people to watch. Also, to be fair, we'll show at least one of these videos. She does it in a way that's designed to be infuriating.
Learn to code and then move to Dubai where you don't have to pay taxes.
Why don't you just marry a rich guy? It's like if you're poor, buy a house. If you don't have a house, buy a house.
So some of the comments, this is not a flex, this is a waste. Rich people can't read the room. Another said, I cry when I spend $10 at McDonald's.
People got mad at me because I said, like, look, when The Rock and Oprah Winfrey asked for people to donate money, I said, I was like, well, how much do you want them to donate? And they're not asking you if you're poor. They're saying if you have the money. To donate, but just the
suggestion,
image, just the suggestion to people upsets them. They say read the room. I said so they should just not say anything.
Read what room? They're making a video.
Exactly.
Like they don't. Everything that you see on the internet is not for you. Like it doesn't.
Exactly.
But it is on your For You page.
Ooh, that's bad. That's really
here's
bad.
Here's one of these videos.
Way to derail
What I expect from my millionaire husband when I get pregnant, part 4.
I don't know if we're gonna have to. I don't want to have like 9,000 different music. So it says pink Kelly for a girl, blue Birkin bag. Spa every single day. Gender reveal. Gold in the weight of the baby.
This is her, she talks about her husband as her Mexican Habibi. Neither of them are from Dubai. They met in California. Okay, all of her videos are like this. One says, it's officially been 1 year since I started my Dubai housewife journey here on TikTok. Another says, reasons I love being a millionaire's wife. Things I asked for when I got married.
It's like a
how
weird,
much my millionaire husband spent on me this week.
It's like a weird rich person's version of like, well, it would be boring if I made one of those what I eat in a day videos, but like what I spend in a day is actually interesting.
When he fixes fights by taking out his credit card. Like all of these are meant to be
upsetting.
Not upsetting, shocking. Yeah. It's reactionary. Like people feel a certain type of way about it.
But you feel that she's not a gold digger.
The way that they met, she was not being a gold digger. This says, it's been such a long journey and Ricky knows the truth. Ricky is her husband. Linda reportedly met him at a gym when she was 16, whereupon she gave him her number because his cell phone was broken and she suggested her father could fix it at his electronics repair shop. This guy was a dishwasher technician at the time. He hadn't made any of his money, so he became a day trader and an entrepreneur after they started dating. And she credits her dad's strong work ethic with helping her determine which traits she desired in a partner. When I met Ricky, I saw all those similar traits to my father in him. I wasn't looking for a wealthy guy. I was looking for ambition and above all, a good man. Money is not the end all be all because you could be with someone who's rich and treats you like crap, you know?
She's like, but so the real important thing is to be with a rich guy who doesn't treat you like crap, is what she's saying.
She comes from a family with humble beginnings. She says that they shared a 1-bedroom apartment in a family of 6.
I wonder if she's got her own story where she's like talking to the camera and he comes out and she's like, my parents drove me to school, and he's like, be honest.
Tell the truth.
What did you drive? What did your dad drive you to school in? Okay, so he drove me to school in a Maserati. So what? Like, look, it's
we were working class.
These videos are designed to get a rise out of people for the sake of social media clout.
I mean, just taking a look at her videos before you have any context will tell you she's nouveau riche. Like, she's flexing her Birkin bags and her Chanel bags and designer cars and designer diamonds and all of this stuff. Like,
maybe she'll call somebody a brokey like Andrew Tate.
She actually does. She made a video like, should you marry a brokey or a rich man?
It's I wonder if does she do the dishes, Mary? Do you think she does the dishes now that she's a kept woman?
Well, no, she jokes that she hires housekeepers to do all the cleaning for her because that's what her husband asks of her.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious. It's just
the worst part about their lifestyle is the fact that they live in Dubai. That sounds awful. That there have been a lot of influencers paid to promote traveling to Dubai, moving to Dubai, And it's very suspicious to me.
Dubai has no income tax. Dubai has no property tax.
I'm sure there
Dubai
are pluses, but why
of...
do you need to pay influencers to convince people to go there in videos where it looks like they're in a ghost town in the middle of the desert?
Because of the beheadings, because people in the Middle East get their heads chopped off, and it's got bad PR.
But they want Westerners to move to Dubai.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And the reason why their streets are clean and why it's so safe for women there is because they have a no tolerance policy on any type of petty crime, let alone violent crime. They'll literally just execute you.
Yes.
Which is cool, but I don't want to live in the middle of a desert that they poured concrete over.
I don't know.
The idea that
also like you'll see influencers there who are flown out to do all sorts of degenerate things.
Yes. Well, you know.
Thankfully, she didn't have that happen to her.
Yeah. The part about her like paying for somebody to clean, because he's paying for somebody, he's hiring somebody to clean. She's just making.
But if
the
she's
phone
the one
call.
that swipes the credit card, you know, she can get the credit.
It reminds me of, I don't remember what show it was, but it was some show where like a husband and wife are talking about how like she's talking about she wants to get her husband something meaningful for his birthday instead of just buying him something with his credit card that he's gonna may or may not like of varying levels of importance. And like, I wonder if she's able to like do stuff like that for him. Hopefully she can. But, he's got to be okay with being married to a woman who wants to make their lives public like that, which, a lot of people might not be.
Yeah, that's the surprising part is that she's more famous than him and he's supposed to be this celebrity entrepreneur. Yeah. He has to explain to his colleagues why his wife is going viral on TikTok using his money for Chanel bags and diamond rings.
All right, let's go super chats here.
Hiroshima Otaru said that just seemed like the same awkward shtick. Yeah,
it didn't look super. She might have looked a little bit less standoffish.
Well, the reason she broke character when she was talking to Dave Portnoy is because she was the one getting interviewed. It's only when she's recording her own interviews that she does the shtick.
Yeah, it's a character.
Bad Adam 12 said, "For the love of God, stop going to Taco Bell. I will gladly buy you all real tacos at Taco Bar in Frederick after your show one day. Phil can even come along." Ugh. Taco Bell is good. I don't care what you say.
Taco Bar sounds good too.
Did you add the ugh?
He added.
He said it.
Okay,
he said ugh.
I'm gonna be like, I didn't realize that.
Feels like
that was going on there, Mary.
No. John Stewart said, "You're not just some dude, Phil. You're the best failed metal artist."
I am. I'm the best failed metal artist.
Bill of the People said, "Have you watched the trailer for Thanksgiving No Leftovers? Your thoughts?"
I have not yet. I did just see the trailer for the Claw, the Von Erich movie. It's A24, so it's already pretentious, but looks all right.
King New Jersey said, what? Okay. Oh. Dylan Mulvaney named Woman of the Year. Really, WTF is wrong in the USA.
Technically, this wasn't in the USA.
Yeah, it was in the UK. As you guys know, that I have... I don't know what I want to say.
Cystic...
Wait, what?
Cystic fibrosis?
Cystic fibrosis?
No, that's not... No. If I dressed like a woman, I would have another problem. Thank God I just make money. You guys should... let on the show. I have no idea what any of that means.
Sorry, like that was a little bit hard to read, man.
King New Jersey said, "Good, I can call Dylan Mulvaney beep and beep." No, you can't. Shane H. Wilder said, "I don't see it as having too many options. I see it as having too many crappy options, which is why I tried and true shows get the most streams."
Yeah, but you don't know they're crappy until you watch to try, right? Well, you can make a general assumption, but like if you're creating, like, you know what'd be the worst? Imagine creating your own movie with AI and it sucks.
Yeah.
You got nobody to blame but yourself.
King New Jersey said, "Yes, Mary, the physically disabled people do not have a job because you don't understand about outside BS world treats me on the job. I own my company, but most disabled people are
like want a job."
I have no idea what your super chats mean, sir. Then he said, "Yes, Mary, I'm 0.001% of the 0.01% of disabled persons I watch you guys for my 2-hour break, then work until 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
If you own your own company, man, good on you. And that's really, really good. My point that I was making in that segment was that, look, with a doctor or the people who create the cars you drive, you're not looking to find the people that you want to hire based on equity. And the same should hold true for any profit-seeking entity that's worth billions of dollars. That's just my personal opinion, that if you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to create something that's supposed to then profit you millions upon millions of dollars, you should be looking for the best overall candidate for the job.
No
not
one
based on
believes
equity.
that Hollywood studios are looking at the resumes of disabled people and chucking them in the shredder. Like, that's not happening. John Stewart said, I went to Dubai when I was in the Navy. They're diversifying away from oil to tourism.
Well, Instagram must help them with that a lot.
Shane H. Wilder said she's married to the man's money, not the man.
I mean, I thought your story made it seem like she was in it for the long.
Yeah, they've been together for 8 years. And
liking what's come of it does not necessarily mean you didn't love him beforehand.
Yeah, the fact that he had nothing in the beginning, like she met him when he was poor, would make me believe that she actually gave a crap about him.
But she wants people on social media to think that she's a gold digger so that she gets more comments.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, she's just looking for attention, probably because she's bored.
I do love the idea that if it was a movie and he was a dishwasher technician, everybody would introduce him as a dishwasher, and he'd be like, I'm a dishwasher technician, not a dishwasher.
Very different.
They're different things. It would be a skit. All right, guys. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? We are on our way to 75,000 subscribers. We just passed 72,000. So please, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Like this video and leave comments on this video so that we can raise engagement and share these videos with your friends so more people can come in here and hang out. Phil, my friend, thank you so much.
I am Phil That Remains on X, Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can follow us on Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, the internet.
Perfect. Did you check to see if we passed 10K?
We did.
Yay!
We just reached 10K live on air. It happened. Thank you guys to whatever 3 people
went and subscribed.
did follow when I told you to. And you can follow me on Instagram at Mary Archived and send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived.
There's one more super chat here, a $2 one from Bree Hawk that says, y'all should do an IRL style call-in after show. Well, that's a good idea. I mean, I would need help setting something like that up. Like that,
maybe
I don't
episode 500.
That's a good idea. We'd have to get working on it now to figure out how they set that up.
We need to get those calls vetted so that nothing untoward happens.
Terrence Rice got one too.
We got one from Terrence Rice here that says, yes, this failed musician convinced a dude from the hood to try metal, and I binged your whole album, your whole discography on YouTube Premium. Terrible musician.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And then one from DerpSpace9 says, so my older oh wait, I'm gonna double check to make sure this isn't something I'm not supposed to read. So my older sister married a guy who has the same name as me. That's fine, it's common. But now I find out that he has the same middle name. Weird. That's a little weird.
Is the middle name a common middle name?
Yeah. Well, is his middle name Space? Like his name's DerpSpace9 too? That's crazy. All right, guys. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Please remember that Pop Culture Crisis is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. I also want to let you know that this weekend, on Friday night, I will be doing a live stream again. My Friday live streams with Colonel Kurtz over there on her YouTube channel. And on Saturday, I will be on the Salty Nerd podcast at 1 p.m. So go on YouTube and search up Salty Nerd on there. They got some great videos. They got some great panels with great hosts. So look out for that one on Saturday. I would like for all of you guys to come hang out during that live stream, super chat, and show people that you're a fan of the show by coming to hang out there. But yes, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you'd like to listen to this podcast rather than watch it. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Go and subscribe there so that we stay over 10,000 subscribers. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
To all the people commenting that I forgot to poll, please look above. You are incorrect. I did, in fact, finish the poll. Results are as shown. Thank you. Have a nice day.